Alright. You good now? We got volume now. Guess you could look on there and check, make sure, but I see the volume thing moving on. Yeah, just gonna have to take off on what we were going to do Wednesday. Try to rehash that. Oh boy.
Get your behind down, both of y'all.
You ain't gonna do nothing about it. You ain't got a headache, man. People got on my nerve this morning, man. Had me take a whole hour trip for nothing. Really 2 hours. Because an hour there and an hour back. I ain't do nothing at all because the thing wasn't working. I just talked to him for a little bit. Computer restarted. After it restarted in the middle. Or when I was just starting, then after that, the volume wasn't working after the restart on the thing, but the volume working now though. So we good now though. You know, peace to the two viewers that just came on here. So basically, I got to do what I was gonna hit. See that what I prefer to do. If y'all done figure this out, is to lay something out on Wednesday, and then hammer it on Friday and Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Kind of make it smoother that way. And just try to jam tight stuff, you know what I mean? But I told y'all, man, we're going to talk about Matthew 26 and 41. What it really means when they say the Ruach is willing but the flesh is weak. And we're going to look at one of them words. The word for willing. You know what I'm saying? With the Hebrew equivalent for willing in that particular verse. And we know we started looking at a particular word and Chronicles as we were going, and we're going to go back and rehash that, which is the word for constant. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. I just was tripping on a dude, man. Dude was on paid, man. He was like, can somebody show me if Christ was God? You know, they just hit him off with a little something, left it alone. You know, cuz steady just pushing it. And it'd be funny how that people make assumptions. Because people assume that if you say that Yahushua is Elohim, that you're saying that he is the Most High, or he is Yahuwah, or he is the Father. And I don't understand how people can't understand the concept of you're not saying that he's Yahuwah, you're not saying he's the Father, you're not saying that. Like he can't have dominion, rule, and authority and not be Elohim. Like I don't understand what's so hard for people to grasp that concept. That's not a difficult concept to understand. Clearly it is though. I also have something, man, I just happened to see it. Sparked my brain. And we got something in Psalms 119 too. And we're going to hit that. We'll go along with what we got. It is Matthew 26 and 41. Try to take all these things, bring them all together. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that these words actually be telling us. You know what I'm saying? And you know, brothers overlook that. It's a lot of stuff that you can delve off into. Get even more of an understanding of what is actually being conveyed through the word. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of times people don't really be catching what's actually being conveyed. As you know, I would say over the last 3 to 4 months, the main singular focus has been an increase of your faith, that you could be converted and become the sons of Elohim. Like most of y'all, you have a basis in the law. You know what the law says. You know who you are. You know why you're in this position as a people and all of these things. But then we look at why we don't have that conversion. We even looked at a while back of what it means to love Yahuwah with all your heart and all your soul. And what he's actually trying to convey you and to tell you. That you can't actually love Elohim until you actually trust and hope in Elohim. Therefore, once you have that trust and hope in Elohim, then it would manifest itself into your dealings with others. You know what I'm saying? Most people in this planet don't really care about other people. You know what I'm saying? I was told something the other day that's real talk. And this was a description that somebody was giving of someone who's not in the word on someone who is in the word. And he was like, just look at the fruits. This was the person's statement. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that we sit back and realize that, man. We say a lot of things, and you might do a couple things that look good according to the word, but then you got 17 other things that make the word look bad. You know what I'm saying? That junk better be sour, man. You have to really consider that type of stuff. See, I know me. You know what I'm saying? I be keeping it easy. Sometimes I be wanting to snap. You know what I'm saying? Well, shalom, brother DC, man. I hope you're doing all right, brother. I hope you're doing all right. You know what I'm saying? And not snap in a way of like just to go off in anger. You know what I'm saying? It just be certain stuff, you know, that people be doing. That I just be seeing stuff that people be doing. You know what I'm saying, man? I ain't on that. And it ain't always meet to go off in the fashion that you might want to do so. You know what I'm saying? Especially people who deal with this word. Be on some other type time. You know what I'm saying? And I done said this once. Said it twice. I'll probably say it again. That it's more so of what you do consistently day in and day out that people paying attention to. Don't try to do stuff to cover yourself, to make yourself feel better or look better in the eyesight of certain people. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to do something, man, be 1,000 with it. All the way around the board. You know what I'm saying? If it's what you want, man, it's what you want. You know what I'm saying? Don't halfway do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't give lip service to it like he told us in the Psalms, and he told us in Isaiah, and he told us in Ezekiel. You know what I'm saying? Because this is coming into, hold on, that's right. He said it's right. He did break your foot. Hold on, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like on some old, like I said, this is a dude on the page. He was going off by, you know, how Brews be and cultish in the. Now this is the thing I don't understand. I told y'all about this a while back. If you see dudes is on some old stupid type doctrines or whatever it is that niggas be on, you know, why entertain it? Why you fool with it? You know what I'm saying? The master said if they're blind, lead the blind. They both fall in the ditch. Leave them alone. Like, let them niggas have that. You know what I'm saying? Let them have that. What could you do? Only thing you could do is present the truth, man, and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? All that railing and going in and day out, man, who cares? You know what I'm saying? That's how I be feeling like, who cares? Because clearly the master didn't care. He cared, but he didn't care. This man explicitly told his apostles, man, leave them dudes alone. If they be blind leaders of the blind, they both gonna fall in the ditch. So he just sat back and said, leave these people alone. Ain't nothing we could do. Ain't nothing we could say or what, nothing we could do. They can't see. The people who teaching them can't see. Ain't absolutely nothing we could do. Leave that alone. We can focus on people who got eyes. We can't focus on somebody that can't see. We focus on them that got eyes. You know what I'm saying? They ain't trying to hit nothing. You know what I'm saying? And like I was saying before that, you know, he say our heart go after our covetousness because we be showing us all this love with our lips. But it's kind of how Lauryn Hill said, you know, we say we love them, but the things that we desire, it actually show we don't. You know what I'm saying? I can put it this way, right? See, I like to have people think like this here, man. I put some stuff up because I'm trying to build something. You know what I'm saying? Me and my nigga, we trying to build an empire. We trying to build something. We trying to work towards something. But that'll make somebody think, oh, he love money, man. I don't love no money, nigga. I'm just a man. Once this man presents an opportunity for me to be able to do certain things for myself, I'm going to maximize that. Whoever knows if I would ever have a spouse or not. But I need to prepare myself for that. Not just to be content. Oh, I got a little bit of shekels, I'm straight. You know, a little bit of shekels, man. I watched my mama struggle my entire life. My wife not finna struggle, man. You know what I'm saying? I can by myself, you know what I'm saying? But my wife is not. I watch my mama do that, man. I'm not finna take my wife through that. I ain't on that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else might be on that, and that's them. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's all type of stuff, man. Dude be on some whole other type time. I don't understand these niggas' rationale and they thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is you niggas thinking about? Dudes don't really believe in the master like that. You know what I'm saying? That's sad in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand what's going on. Because when the rubber hit the road and this stuff hit the fan, it's going to be ugly. And niggas ain't going to get in. Then when niggas don't get in, niggas going to be looking crazy. They going to be saying, Matthew, like niggas think it's a game. Like you really going to be saying, we prophesied in your name and did great works in your name. This man going to say, man, I ain't know you, cuz. Don't care nothing about you was on no corners, on no Facebook, on no YouTube, man. What that mean to me? You were a worker of iniquity. You was lawless in your heart. That means nothing to me. I don't care what you did. It means nothing. Nothing. You didn't believe in me. That means nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what I be wanting y'all to really grasp and understand in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be converted. We need to be healed. We need to be changed. We need to have a new mind. A new Ruach, a new heart, a new everything. A new everything. Man, you can't sit back and look at, like, you can't toe the line between sinners and saints. The world and Shamahin. You can't toe that line. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pick a side. You know what I'm saying? You have to pick a side. You have to stand on that. Like, niggas is not standing on that. Niggas is not on that. Not 100%. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all that before, man. If you can't lay your life down before you get ready to die, you're not going to lay it down when it's time to die. It's a sad state of affairs, you know what I mean? It's like, I seen a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or so, I don't know how long ago. Stuff be seeming like it would be so long ago, that jump be last week. But I seen a lot of bruisers getting up in arms, you know, to a certain extent. Because that dude from GOCC got smashed in a debate with some Jewish dude. And I'd be like, you know, this man acknowledged and admitted, I seen this for myself. I ain't telling you what nobody told me. You know what I'm saying? I heard this man say this on camera, out his own mouth. He was sleeping around with all these women in his congregation. So if you're doing that, then I already know that Yahuwah has not sent you. Like, regardless that man say Ahaya and Yeshaya, and that tongue, that don't even mean nothing. Like, that's irrelevant. This man just sat back and said he was whoremonger, sitting in the seat, teaching this man's people, sleeping with all these women, and you think y'all gonna give him some understanding? Are you serious? Are you serious? I just seen a dude say, if you waiting for a preacher to be without sin, you're gonna remain ignorant forever. Is that, like, really? This is the expectation that people have. So there's never an expectation of greatness. It's only an expectation of constant and consistent mediocrity and settling for less. It's quite disturbing. You know what I'm saying? If I do something, man, and I don't have some success in it, it don't go how I envision it to go, that stuff bothers me. You know what I'm saying? It eats at me for days. For days. I could only imagine if I had athletic ability, because I would probably stew over a loss for days. You know what I'm saying? I could even imagine how it would feel to lose a championship game or championship series, because it would eat at me. I could understand why when Cam Newton lost the Super Bowl last year, that man ain't want to talk. You know what I'm saying, man? I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to you people, man. Because the only thing I'm going to be cycling in my brain is what I could have did better to change the outcome of this situation. I ain't even looking at my teammates, what they did or what they didn't do. All I'm gonna be sitting back looking at is, what did I not do to allow this situation to be better? You know what I'm saying? Especially if I sit back and look at it. If there's certain people I feel like, boom, they rolling with me, and I feel like I've disappointed them, that stuff bothers me. It bothers me. You know what I'm saying? It bothers me for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of dudes, I don't really think they really feel that way, because I don't think a lot of people are really that ingrained and really care about the things that they put themselves into doing. And if they, it's because they really are just cool with being mediocre. You know what I'm saying? They feel like this is the ceiling, and the ceiling's here, and if I can just get right here, I don't need to get to the ceiling or excel past the ceiling. Because the master said, greater works than these that you shall do. So not only did he tell us that we would meet his ceiling, he said that we would extend past his ceiling. Past it. You have to sit back and think about that. That means he's sitting here telling you you'll do great things. Greater things than I've done. You know what I'm saying? We don't look at stuff like that. Because I don't think we really want to be great. I think we're cool with being mediocre. I think it suffices us. It doesn't really matter to us. And that's not the way to be. You know what I'm saying? Especially not dealing with the word. That's not the... You know what I'm saying? And then, oh yeah. Before I move any further, because this nigga's funny, right? So this nigga tells me, right? He said, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he asked me, did I believe if he was the truth? I say, sir, I believe Yahushua is the truth. I say, but you, sir, are a man. This nigga says, this is his dominion. Needless to say, I no longer engaged in any more conversation with him. You know what I mean? But this stuff here crazy, man. This stuff out here crazy. Like, I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I just don't know no more. This stuff out here crazy. You know what I'm saying? But praise the Lamb for the Shabbat and for the word. But this stuff out here crazy. You know what I'm saying? This stuff out here super crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, these niggas is ill. These niggas is sick. You know what I'm saying? Just people just don't want to be great. You gotta want to be great. You got to want to be great. You know what I'm saying? You have to. If you done did everything that you felt like you could, like if losing, I'm talking about something that you done put your hand to do. I ain't talking about no recreation or no hobbies, man. You know what I'm saying? If not attaining to what it is you seeking after don't bother you, that's a problem, man. It's a problem. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What they say, I feel sorry for your mother. I feel sorry for my people. My heart hurts for my people. I don't think my people really care about much. I think this is just a black society club. You know what I mean? Keep it hot. Sure, man. Stuff crazy out here, man. It's crazy out here, man. Like, yeah. Nevertheless, when we look at it, you know, the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. You're going to be able to sit back and ascertain some things and sit back and show you why the Ruach is willing and what it means to be willing and why that flesh is so weak. Oh, truth be told, Paul kind of already told us this. in the 8th chapter of the epistle that he wrote to the Romans. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, what do we delight in? And where does our desire rest? Because I don't think our hearts really, if people sit back and they want to say, a lot of people delight with their mouths. It's not even play no games with it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people delight in the word in conversation. They don't delight in the word in their heart. A lot of people delight in the word online, but they don't delight in the word in their life. A lot of people delight in the word when they're around other people who profess to believe it, but don't delight in it when those people are not watching. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go ahead and keep it 100. You know what I mean? Don't even play no games with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't cut no corners with it, because that's just the reality of it. That's just the reality of it. That's just the reality of it. You know what I'm saying? I can't cap on that, man. I see it all the time. I've seen it live and in person. I done told you before. If somebody don't actually believe the word, you don't actually believe the word. If it's not actually your delight, your joy, your desire, when adversity comes, when temptation comes, you will fold. And you will lean back to transgression and sin. You will do it. You know what I'm saying? There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That is going to happen because that inward delight of actually keeping this man's word and believing this man's word will not preclude you from doing these things. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to look at some of that this evening, man. You know, who am I, man? I ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? People may feel a lot of ways about me. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? People may have a lot of things to say about me. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? People might think a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Very rarely will they express it. It's kind of like Pac say, you know, niggas talk a lot of trash, but that's after I'm gone. He said, because they fear me in the physical form. He said, let it be known I'm troublesome. See, because the reason why I say that they're being troublesome is, when, you know, and praise be to Yah, by way of Yahushua HaMashiach for. When you actually know the word, and people know you know it, and not just know it in forth as just, you can rattle off some precepts, you can rattle off some verses, this, that, and the third. But niggas know your manner of life. Niggas know that that's what you own. It's how you live. You own that. You know what I'm saying? Dudes, you know what I'm saying, don't be really wanting to go head up. I say that because I noticed this. That I done seen dudes go back and forth with somebody. I say something to him, nigga act like I ain't talking. You know what I'm saying? This, that, then, and the third. Because, you know, praise y'all, I can handle mine. And you already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you come fooling with me, I'm not finna play no games with you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no time to play no games with you. You know what I'm saying? The master ain't play no games with nobody. I'm not finna sit around and play no games with you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can sit around and play games with people. I'm not finna play no games with people. And it kind of rubs people the wrong way when you like that, because I'm not finna play with you. I'm finna go ahead and dust you off real nice like. You making claims. Where your precepts at? You know what I'm saying? Don't talk me to death, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear none of that. Where your book at for that? Because people say a lot of things. Okay, where your book at for that? It sounds real good. You know what I'm saying? Make that happen, though. That's all I'm saying. Make that happen, though. You know what I'm saying? Pull that. Line that. You know what I'm saying? I need to see that. You got a couple rounds in your clip? You got something in your magazine? You know what I'm saying? We keep banana clips over here, man. Don't need no extended. Keep banana clips, man. Banana clips. 100-round drums. Don't spray them all, rattle them off. And it is what it is. I'm going to hit you with what I got to hit you with, and I'm going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? We got things to do. We got word to be preached, soul to be saved, money to be made. Nobody got no time to play with you. You know what I'm saying? Go get your hats, thanks. That'll be the problem. People, man. We don't try to play with nobody, man. We looked at that on last Shabbat, man. And Master sat down when they were tempting him. That man ain't play with the people. That man looked them people dead in their face. They get mad if I tell them where your precept at. The master looked them in their face and say, you do err, not knowing the power of Elohim or the scriptures. He say, told them straight up now, then you wrong. And if you notice, he didn't back off that statement by telling them they was wrong. He said it, he meant it, he stood on that, and then showed them how they was wrong. You know them dude was mad? Probably went back to the synagogue in the temple to open up a scroll. Well, I'm going to prove him, I'm going to get him. But you seen what it said. They ain't asking no more questions out of that. They say, nah, man, bro, nice what he is, bro. We going to leave bro alone. Bro, you know what he talking about. Ain't nobody ever answered us like this here. Ain't nobody never came through like this here. That's the stuff that people don't like. See, it's kind of like what Gamaliel stated in Acts chapter 5, why a lot of dudes don't like that. See, a lot of dudes feel like when you start coming through like that, you're going to start pulling off disciples after you. Because most people are really more concerned with how many people they can get to follow them and listen to them versus actually edifying the people with the word that their soul might be saved. You know what I'm saying? I said it last week, I say it again, and it wasn't the first time I said it, but I care less, boy. I preach to the wall. Don't make me damn bit different. Shoot, I done it. You know what I'm saying? I done did it where it was just me and two other people. You know what I'm saying? It don't really make no difference to me. You know what I'm saying? This work gonna get put on the street one way or another. You know what I'm saying? I done been on the corner, dolo. I'm talking about on the corner, dolo. Outside, real life. You know what I'm saying? On the block, on corners, all type of places. Drop that word and go. You know what I'm saying? And go. Let Yahuwah do the rest. That's all I can do. All I can do is drop it and go. You know what I'm saying? Dude feel like they got to cultivate and all that type of stuff. That only come if there's a congregation setting when you go to cultivate. I just drop a seed and go. Who knows what y'all gonna do? There's a lot of people out there hit the word off of, man, that I have not seen in a long time. I'm talking about 5 years, 6 years, shoot, 7 years going on. You know what I'm saying? On the real. You know what I'm saying? It's people I only seen one time. Who knows what y'all did with that seed they were given? I prayed, watered it. You know what I'm saying? And it bloomed and blossomed into the beauty of Kadesh. Through the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach. That's my hope. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I remember sitting in that Elham, man, dropping that work, man. You know what I'm saying? Had that sword right there on the bar. Because somebody came and had people get mad when they see me coming. Like, hey, man, I just didn't openly walk up to talk to people about the word. Somebody had to ask a question because they knew that that's what I was on. So people would wonder and want to know certain things. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't coming to people, these heathens in here in this bar drinking. I'm finna ruin their good time. You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't finna do nothing. I ain't here for that. But if you ask for that work, I'm going to give you that work. And pray y'all do something for you after the fight. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Well, you know. Come on, Pops. You got to be on point, man. You don't want to hear the words, y'all. But let us pray. It's 9 o'clock. Here come P-Pop. All right, y'all. Righteous Father Yahuwah, we bless thy Kadesh Shabbat and thank you for thy mercies. We thank you for that salvation and thank that you work through your son Yahushua HaMashiach to give us an opportunity to rest in thy word. Not only us, but the whole house of Yasharal, to the Yahudim first and also to the heathen, all those who serve thee in Ruach and in truth. Let that verses be upon them. To all the Kadesh apostles, prophets, preachers, and teachers, synagogues, and assemblies of Yahuwah in the four corners of the earth, Baruch them individually and collectively, that they gather together perfect one in the beauty of Kadosh. Baruch the hosts of the Shamahim and the Kadosh apostles and prophets that paid the way of the faith, and sent forth laborers into the harvest, where the harvest is plentiful, but laborers are few. That the word which you covenanted with our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob might be fulfilled, that uncircumcised hearts might be humbled, that we might return unto thee, to walk in thee, to delight in thee, to be strengthened by thee, to desire thee with the whole heart, the whole mind, and the whole soul, that we might be converted, to become your sons, and you become our Elohim. Remember Jerusalem, the city of salvation, which you chose to place thy name. Cleanse her the unkadash who defile her, and plant back the people like Kadash, that we might dwell in the land where our father dwelt. God us, lead us according to thy word, and according to the covenant of shalom that you made with us, that we might be healed and uplifted, that we might stand with thee, to see thee, and to serve thee, and to praise thee forever. We assemble the firstborn individually and collectively. Let the love of my shot dwell in our heart by faith. Guide us and give us the wherewithal and strength to forgive anyone who has done us wrong, to love them as you have loved us when we were your enemies. Guide us and lead us according to thy word, that we might be counted worthy to receive the Ruach HaKodesh. Let our hearts be cleansed. Let our minds be cleansed. Let us delight in our word and our word alone. Let us be strengthened by it. Let us be guided by it. Let us become one with it. Let us be converted by it. Let us be made whole and healed by it. That we might show forth to ourselves to be the sons of the living Elohim, sons of light, that we might shine in the midst of a crooked and perverse generation. Father, as we proceed further, we ask thee for a word from on high, word, truth, and righteousness to come to us. That we may know him that is true. That we are in him that is true. Even our son Yahushua HaMashiach, listen to true Elohim and eternal life. Father, we give praise, esteem, and honor to the Most High Yahuwah by Hashem Yahushua this day. So be it. Be it. Go. Go. John 5:39, everybody. Bye-bye, potty. All right, John chapter 5 and verse 39 says this. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. He says he knows us. We don't have the love of Elohim in you. Let's see why. Ezekiel 33 and 10. Excuse me, I mentioned this earlier, right? So we might as well. We give praise and esteem and honor to the Most High Yah by Hashem Yahushua this day. Hallelujah for Yahushua and the Word. Another opportunity to cease from our labors as Yahuwah ceased from his, that we might learn to cease from doing our own will, just like the Master did. See, we don't even sit back and really realize that when the writer of Hebrews, the epistle to the Hebrews states that the Shabbat was a sign of how the Most High ceased from his works, and that we should follow this example. And we don't realize that when the Master was getting ready to die, that he was ceasing from his work. He was giving us the example of that. And there's a reason why he was willing to do that. And we're going to look at that because, again, it's going into what we're going to be talking about to a certain extent in that Matthew 26. Hold on, everybody. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Because, hallelujah indeed, brother. Yes, sir. Good to see you too, man. Yes, sir. We got everything worked out. Them kings worked out for another day. Praise the Lamb. So, think about that. We're going to look at that. Because you got to have a delight. See, brothers and sisters don't have a delight. That's why they only go so far. But Ezekiel 33 and 10. I'm sorry, it ain't 33 and 10. It's like what? 33 and 30. My apologies. I'm talking about 10. We want 30. 33 and 30. This is what he take. Because, you know what I'm saying? This is what he take. Also, thou son of man, the children of thy people are still talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak every one to another, every one to his brother, saying, Come, I pray you, and hear what the word that come forth from you. And they come unto thee as the people come, and they sit before thee as my people. And they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart go after their covetousness. See, this man just said something very strong right here. He said, they come to sit before me, as my people. This is what he just said. Listen to him, man. He said, and they shall sit before thee as my people, and hear thy words, but won't do them. Now let's just keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? Don't cut no corners or none of that. I wouldn't care who it was. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't care what congregation it was. I wouldn't care who was preaching it. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't care if they did it in person. I wouldn't care if they did it through a conference call. I wouldn't care if they did it through a live stream. I wouldn't care how it got done. This nigga sit down every single solitary Shabbat, whether it be day, whether it be night, and they sit down as if they were his people, and they hear this man's words and will not do not a single solitary one of them. Ain't no front in that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I mentioned to this y'all last week, and I'm going to say it again because this needs to register in our brain. We are some of the most vilest, despicable, disobedient, rotten people on the face of the earth. Because this man say he gave us a law so great that this was our understanding in the sight of the nations, that they can say, what a such a wise and understanding people is this, that have a law so great as this, and a power so near to them, and we buck it for show. Because we would rather show out and pretend to be something that we're actually not, instead of actually coming to this man as his people and sitting before him as his people and hearing his words and doing those words. But he see, the reason why I read this here is because he said their mouth show much love, but their heart go after what they covet. Which means whatever it is that you're desiring, that's what you delight in. If that makes any sense. That is what you actually delight in. Your delight is not actually in the word. It's whatever you got going on in your mind or whatever it is that you want. Now that's a hard one. But it's 100 though. You know what I'm saying? See, the reason why I have to speak this harshly like this here, right? Because, you know, we always big ourselves up, but we're the chosen people. And we are. And that Yah has placed us above all nations of people, which he has. Do you know what I'm saying? But then we forget that in order for that, the caveats that he gave along with that. He say, if, see, hold this Ezekiel 33, because we're going to come back and come over here to Exodus chapter 19. See, hold on. See, look at the caveat that he put in with that. Because there was a caveat with that. You know what I'm saying? See, we like to look at the parts that make that we want to, but we don't want to look at the caveats and the things that go with it in order to attain that particular thing. Exodus chapter 19 and verse 5. Look at the caveat that he put onto this. Pay attention to it. Understand it. He said, now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, if you will hear my voice, if you will hear my, he that have ears to hear, let him hear. Is what he's telling you. If you will obey my voice indeed, faith come by hearing and hearing come by the word. So if you will believe me and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. So in order for us to be this strange treasure above everybody, we would have to obey him. We would have to hear him. We would have to believe him. This is the thing that we don't do. Go to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 10 and see why we don't do it. Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 10. I'm just pulling out the word for peculiar, that's all. Just pulling out the word for peculiar. And it is segula, and it's a valued property. It's a peculiar treasure, it's a jewel. Well, since that's the case, before we read Jeremiah chapter 6, Malachi chapter 3 and verse 16. Segula. So in order to become this man, so then we have to sit back again. Pray the Lamb. Again, we're gonna work it right. I'm gonna get to the main crux of the thesis. Bear with me. Right now, this is the lead up. I ain't even started the thesis yet. Malachi 3 and 16. Then they that feared Yahuwah spake often one to another, and Yahuwah hearkened and heard it. See, hold on, right? Those that feared Yahuwah, he say that they spake one to another, and he heard them. Because remember, his ears are open to the prayers of the righteous, and his eyes are upon them. And a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared Yahuwah and that thought upon his name. And they shall be mine, saith Yahuwah of hosts. And that day when I shall make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spare his own son that serve him. He says that he'll make us his jewels when we hear his voice. He said he'll spare us as a man that spares his own son that serves him. So of course we would need to look into that. You know what I'm saying? Because the son would delight in the ways of his father to walk in them. You know, Proverbs speaks a lot about things of that nature. But let's sit back and look at John chapter 17 and verse 3. Let's sit back and look at that. He says, a son that serves him. Say, make him a jewel. Remember what he told you? He told you about the master. He said, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. Now, of course, we know Romans said if he didn't spare his own son, but he was talking about sparing him from the stake. But indeed he did spare him, because Abarima, Hebrew chapter 5 tells you that, and that he was heard and that he feared. The Father heard him because he feared, and therefore he resurrected him from the dead. I just heard a brother write this here, right? I'm a chill. I'm away. I got a lot in my brain. I'm away. Make it verse 1.
You better stop it, boy.
You like to waste food, don't you, boy? These words spake Yahushua, and he lifted up his eyes to Shamahim and said, Abba, the hour is come. Esteem thy son, that thy son also may esteem thee. As thou hast given him power over all flesh, that he should give eternal life to as many as thou hast given him. And this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true Elohim, and Yahushua HaMashiach, whom thou hast sent. I have esteemed thee on the Eretz. I have finished the work which thou gave me to do. And now, O Abba, esteem thou me with thy own self, with the esteem which I had with thee before the world was. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gave me out of the world. Thine they were. Thou hast gave them me, and they have kept thy word. Now this man just sat back and said, I came to finish the work which you gave me to do. I've come to complete it. I have completed the work. He said, my Father gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should do. And I know his commandment, what I should say, and I know his commandment is life everlasting. He said he will spare him as a son that serves his own father. We know that Yahushua did all things that the Father commanded him. Why did he do all the things that the Father commanded him? And we're going to sit back and look at it, because this is going back again to the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. Most of us don't sit back to be able to be made sons, because we don't do all the things that our Father commanded us, because we don't have a hope or expectation in the salvation. We don't have that hope and expectation. So because we lack that hope and expectation, then we don't actually go forth to manifest the works of salvation, to be able to become a son, to be that jewel that he would make up and that he would spare. When we look at there'll be my jewels, the son that come to mind. Revelation chapter 21. (21 and 11), and we'll work our way around it. Having the esteem of Elohim, and her light was like unto a stone, most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 malachim, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Yasharal. And on the east 3 gates, and on the north 3 gates, and on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and then the name of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. Drop it down about verse 18. And the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was of pure gold, like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth a sardonyx, the sixth a sardius, the seventh a chrysolite, the eighth a beryl, the ninth a topaz, the 10th a copperas, the 11th a jacinth, the 12th a amethyst. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls, every several gate of 1 pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. Now we just read in John chapter 17, he say, those who he gave him out of the world heard this word, because they belonged to him. And we see that these 12 foundations of this city were named after the 12 apostles, and then it happened to be a jewel for each apostle. Now we know each apostle is representative of each tribe, and each tribe has a gate. And Revelation 21 and 7 says in this very same chapter that he that overcometh shall inherit all things. I be his Elohim, and he shall be my son. Now look at Revelation 19 and Matthew 19, my apologies. And look at what the master told his apostles. And to sit back and remember that in John 17, he prayed that also all those who would believe on him through the words of the apostles. That all of us have a right to this here, and that we are representative of them same Jews. Because each one of those Jews are representative of each one of these tribes. Because the apostles served the Mashiach. Therefore the Father spared them. And he just like he said in Malachi, they became his Jews. See, they'll be as my Jews. He said, I will spare them as a son who serves him. Matthew 19:27. Then answered Peter and said unto him, Behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? Yahushua said unto them, Truly, truly, I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in a regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his esteem, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Yasharal. Everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. You know, it's many of us that just sit back and we look at, like, when we hear that, you have to, now we go to Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. You have to have such a strong delight in this man to be able to forsake everything for him to be able to make you up as his jewel for you to come serve him. Because when we talked about this a couple weeks ago about being a servant. So if you're going to turn around and be a servant, remember Leviticus 25 say that we are the servants of Yahuwah. He said we're not supposed to rule over each other with rigor because we are his servants. So you sit back and look at, that's a brother asked, Brother Darius, another Brother Darius asked me about this here right yesterday. He was asking about Psalms 82 when it said a year of gods, you know, and it's talking about us becoming the sons of God. And he asked, would it be wrong if we said that we were sons of God? No, it's not wrong. Unless you ain't been born of Elohim, unless you're not manifesting yourself to be a son, unless you're not trusting in Elohim, unless you, like I said, you ain't been born of Elohim, you're not walking as a son of Elohim, then you would be wrong because then you would say that you know him and you would be a liar because you know him not. Like I say, you don't hear many brews calling Yahuwah. They may say the Father, but they don't call him their Father. Or they don't refer to themselves as sons. You know what I'm saying? And we have to move, like he said, man. He said when he said that he puts in the spirit of his son into your hearts where you cry out, Abba, Father. You know what I'm saying? You sit back and look at, are you making that proclamation? If you're not making that proclamation, why are you not making that proclamation? Because of course we know his name is Yah. We know his name is Yahuwah. We know all of that. You know what I'm saying? But it's forth in terms of looking at it in the natural sense. You know your parents' first name, but you still call your father. Father, you don't walk up and call your daddy by his name. You say daddy, you say papa, whatever you call it, you don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's forth for showing the reverence of this is whom you submit yourself to. You know what I'm saying? We can put the focus on, he say his name, but then we ain't sitting back looking at, but you haven't even become a son to the point where you can look at him and it ain't about just saying his name. It's approaching him and saying that this is my Father, of whom I reverence and whom I serve, of whom created me in his image and his likeness, that I may become him and have dominion and rule along with him, because it's his desire to give us this kingdom as an inheritance, as he has stated on numerous occasions. Jeremiah 6 and 10, though. You still hold Ezekiel 33. See, a lot of us don't believe that he gonna give us this. There's a dude I know, some of y'all might see this in the public. You know, he was like, I went through so much stuff for the word. I kept the laws. I had faith. You know what I'm saying? And now I put that stuff behind me and my life's better for me now. Which means you didn't really have any faith and you really didn't keep anything. That you were only serving this man for what you thought that you could receive. That's why many people actually serve this man is for what they think that they could get. And then when they don't get what they feel like they should get, then they don't want to do it anymore. Then some people just like to pretend because they don't want nobody to sit back and say, that nigga quit. When they already looking at you every day and be like, that nigga quit because he never got started. Jeremiah 6 and 10. To whom shall I speak and give warning that they may hear? Behold, their ears uncircumcised, and they cannot hearken. Behold, the word of Yahuwah is unto them a reproach. They have no delight in it. So our people don't delight in the word. Let's look at the word delight. I mean, I know what the word is going to be because it's the word that we're going to be focusing on this evening. But let's just look at the word delight in this particular verse. And that's what people's problem is when it comes to the word. You don't delight in it. Everything else coming to the play. Everything else is more important than this. If certain people become more important. You know what I'm saying? The word is the word that we're going to be looking at today, and that's kafas. And it's to delight in, to take pleasure in, to desire, to be pleased with. Pleased to do. To be pleased to do. To be pleased to do. Let's finish Ezekiel 33. This people is not pleased. Are people really pleased to do this? Or do you sit back and look at, man, I can't do this, and I can't do that, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. I want to do this, and I want to do that, and why I'm going through this here. And as I say, man, we talked about it a little bit last week. You can delight to want and do certain things versus the direction that you know that y'all are telling you to go in, and y'all will have to let you have what you want, and it's not going to end well in the end. It may seem good at the start. It seemed good for Yasharal in the beginning when he gave us over to our own desires and we were doing our own thing. It didn't end that way, though. It didn't end that way, though. It did not end that way. I'm going to read verse 31 again in Ezekiel 33. And they come unto thee as the people come, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. With their heart, for with their mouth they show much love, but their heart go after their covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that have a pleasant voice. See, something you delight in. Say, boy, he sound good. Boy, that know how to preach a word. Boy, that boy know how to line it up. Boy, you seen how he did this here? And can play well on the instrument, for they hear their words, but they do them not. And when this has come to pass, lo, it will come. They shall know that a prophet hath been among them. And now he's sitting here telling Ezekiel, when this stuff happens, they gonna know that I sent you. They say, boy, they don't sit back and say, boy, that them words sound good. I ain't doing nothing that nigga talking about though. Because you gotta sit back and realize Ezekiel dual threat, prophet and high priest. That's a dual threat. Not only he can prophesy when Yahuwah move him to do it, he could go ahead and school him in the law. Same token. That's a 2-for-1. As a matter of fact, this is what it was. I seen a sister say, show me in the scriptures where it say a woman can't give sound advice. And these individuals went to argue about, can a woman preach or not? I don't know how you confuse sound advice with preaching. Anyone can give sound advice. Shoot, a child can give sound advice. And you may not even realize or think that that child would even be capable of doing it. You know what I'm saying? This doesn't matter. Of course a woman can give sound advice. But she has to have a brain. Just like a man has to have a brain. You know what I'm saying? It's just the stuff that people argue about. Like, why even go to the point of posting that? Show me in the scriptures where it say a woman can't give sound advice. For what? For what? For what? And then dude go to argue. See, a woman can preach, brother, long as she has a covering in her husband. Where you get that from? Y'all have mercy on those people. Goodness gracious. Man, Matthew 26 and 41, man. Make it 36, man. God. Y'all have mercy on these people. Then come Yahushua with them unto a place called Jessamine, and saith unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here, and watch with me. And he went a little further, and fell on his face, and prayed, saying, O my Abba, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me, nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou will. I seen a nigga say Yahushua couldn't be Elohim because he didn't want to die. I That don't funny to me. We gave 1 point. See, he was looking forward to say, show me what Christ say he God. This man stood in front of these people and he said, your sins be forgiven thee. And these people say, man, this man blaspheme. Only Elohim can forgive sins. These people sat back and realized when this man sat back and said your sins can be forgiven you, that this man was making himself equal as Elohim, or if not as saying he was Elohim himself. Do you know this nigga came back and told me that the master say, forgive each other your trespasses, that men have power to forgive sins? I say, brother, that's not forgiving nobody's sins. That's forgiving somebody for doing you wrong. Are you high? Are you on what are you smoking? Something's wrong with you. You're an idiot. And he come unto the disciples and find them asleep, and saith unto Peter, what? Could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray, that you enter not into temptation. The Ruach indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And that word for willing that we're going to be looking at is kafats. That's the word. It's to delight in. It's to pleasure in. So the Ruach of Elohim delights in doing what the word says. The flesh has no desire, no delight in doing what the word says. This is why he tells you to watch and pray. Because when that temptation comes, that Ruach, that inward man, that man there, he wants to do what he has a delight in the word. See, now we go to Romans chapter 7, and this would make what Paul say hit a lot harder. Romans 7:14. So you have a part of you that's going to delight in the word and a part that delights not. Which part will you allow to win? That would come down to it. And we're going to sit back and look at this here, because the master would tell them, son, the Ruach is willing, the flesh was weak. See, he's sitting there telling them, my Ruach I delight to die. But the flesh has no desire to die. And that's what some of our problem is. We have a delight to do what the word says, but we don't want to mortify our members with the word and crucify ourselves with a mashah to actually keep it. For we know that the Torah is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold unto sin. For that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what I hate, that do I. Because remember, we talked about that last week. The Ruach and you know what I'm saying, in us lusteth to envy. Think the scripture saith in vain, the Ruach in us lusteth to envy. Therefore, walk in the Ruach. Therefore, you won't fulfill the lust of the flesh, because the flesh seeks to cause you to do the things that you ought not. Because the flesh is weak. The flesh is moved. And we're going to see the word for soul, that like this here, that we seen in for lust last week, that is used in another location. And it's going to go right back into conversion. You know what I'm saying? In order for the Ruach to be willing, you got to have the Ruach Elohim have to be in your mind. The word has to come in your mind. When the word is not in your mind, then you won't have a delight in it. Maybe you say they hear the word of Yahuwah, but they don't have a delight in it. It's a reproach. You don't joy in the word when you hear it. It's just routine. It's always the Sabbath again. We got to hear this nigga talk. That's it. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the Torah that it is good. Now then it is no more I that do it, but the sin that dwell in me. For I know that in me, that is, in my flesh, dwell no good thing. For to will is present with me. But how to perform that which is good, I find not. For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that which I would not, it is no more I that do it, but the sin that dwell in me. I find then a Torah that when I would do good, evil is present with me. For I delight in the Torah of Elohim after the inward man. Remember we talked about that Psalm chapter 1 where it said you meditate in the Torah day and night. And he said that it would be your delight. Remember, he said in Jeremiah, he said his people don't delight in the word. We read in Ezekiel, he said the people hear the word, but they don't have a desire to do it because their heart go after the covetousness. Their heart goes after the things that they lust after. The things that they lust after, that's what their heart goes after. So you have to think about that. You know what I'm saying? If you don't delight after the word inwardly, then there's no way that you're going to keep it. Therefore, that's why he say that the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. The Ruach delights. That inward man ought to delight in the word. But when your inward man don't delight in the word, then that's how you sin here, sin there, sin here, sin there, sin here, sin there. That's how that happens. That's how you end up into that cycle, doing the things that you ought not. He said, but I see another Torah in my members warring against the Torah of my mind, bringing me into captivity of the Torah of sin, which is in my members. O wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank Elohim through Yahushua HaMashiach, our master, so that with the mind I myself saw the Torah of Elohim, but with the flesh the Torah of sin. So what is this telling us? The soul that sin is shall die. We know Adam is doing this here. So what is he referring to? There's a battle going on. We talked about this a little bit last week about, with lust and temptations, and all of these things. It's a battle going on. Are you going to delight in the word, or are you going to delight in your flesh? Because if you delight in your flesh, then that war, because he said there's a war warring against the Torah of my mind. Your flesh is warring against you to get you to go against the word. If you have a delight in the word, then you can subdue the flesh the same way that the master subdued the flesh. Romans 8 tell you this. He condemned sinful flesh in the flesh. How was he able to do this? Because of where his hope was set. Let's look at Psalms chapter 40. Before we touch on some of these other things, we're going a little different than what we started on Wednesday. So we got to cut short. Psalm 40. Psalm 40 and 4. We'll just look at Psalm 40 and 4 and work our way down. Baruch is the man that make Yahuwah his trust and respect not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Baruch is that man that make Yahuwah his trust. I want y'all to keep that in mind. What he's talking about. And respect not the proud. Let's sit back and let's look at. I want to just pull this Hebrew word for respect real fast. Let's just look at this word for respect. The word for respect is panah, and it means to turn, or to turn toward, or from away, or to decline, or turns toward, or approach of eating, or turn or to look back after. So that you wouldn't turn to the proud. So let's look at something right this here, right? Because anybody that walk in sin would be proud according to Yahuwah, because you would walk in the pride of your heart. Matter of fact, 1 John 2 and 15. Hold this Psalm 40 and 1 John 2 and 15. Matter of fact, make it 2 and 13. 1 John 2 and 13. I write unto you, fathers, because you have known him that is from the beginning. I write unto you, young men, because you overcome the wicked one. I write unto you, little children, because you have known the Abba. I write unto you, fathers, because you have known him that is from the beginning. I have written unto you, young men, because ye are strong, and the word of Elohim abide in you, and you overcome the wicked one. So look at the key thing of what the Apostle John is stating, that the word is abiding in you. This allow you to overcome the wicked one. Again, why if the word is abiding in you is because you have a delight in it. Because the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. In order to overcome the wicked one, you have to have a delight in the word, and it has to abide in you. This is how you're able to delight in the Torah, in the inward man, and defeat that law that's in your members. Because your flesh is like this here, right? You get to a point like this here, right? That if you haven't subdued your flesh, say you're a man, You know what I'm saying? You like women, butt naked women come in here, your flesh gonna raise, you might do something you got no business. This was going to the point we were talking about Wednesday, right? You'll have a point where if you feel like you'll do something, that's when you'll sit back and look at, okay, I'm not gonna put myself in a position to tempt myself, because I feel like I might do this if I dwell in this situation or circumstance too long. And don't get me wrong, right? Because you got to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? You know yourself. And you know, like, shoot, well, I know what I'm going to do. But then you get to the point where if your members are mortified, it's like this here, right? I ain't smoked weed in so long, I don't even have a desire for it. So if I was around niggas who was smoking reefer, if I walked up and it's not going to bother me because I don't want it. Do you know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be like, oh, when you first go call yourself stop and you be like, boy, I can't be around that. That's a temptation. I don't want it. I have no desire for it. That don't mean that it's going to be like that in every situation that you find yourself in. We'll be like that. Because you know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to put yourself in a situation and you mess around and be like, boy, I done committed no sin. You don't want to put yourself in no bad spot. But then at the same token, it's certain stuff that where you get yourself built up on that faith, built up on that word, well, it don't matter what's going on around you. You're not going to incline yourself to that. You're gonna remove yourself from that, not because of the fear of temptation and succumbing to it, but because you have no desire to have that anywhere near you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm straight on that. I don't want to be surrounded by that. I'm good. Not on, I better, if I sit right here, I'm gonna smoke that blunt. If I sit right here, I'm gonna sip that liquor. You know what I'm saying? That's just the bottom line to it. That's only because that word is abiding in your heart, therefore your flesh is subdued. It's not an easy task, but it can be done. The only reason why it's not easy because we don't allow the word to do what it was made to do. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world pass away and the lust thereof, but he that do the will of Elohim abide forever. So, you just sit back and look at it about not turning to the proud. You can see that in an example like with Daniel and Nebuchadnezzar. Let's look at that in Daniel chapter 4. Daniel 4:1. It said, Nebuchadnezzar the king under all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I thought it good to show the signs and wonders that the high Elohim have wrought towards me. How great are his signs, and as mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. His dominion is an everlasting, is from generation to generation. Nebuchadnezzar was at rest in my house, flourishing in my palace. I saw a dream that made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the visions of my head troubled me. So, you know, he had a little vision, you know, and in that vision, he seen a tree getting chopped down. We're not going to go through this whole vision, but we're seeing who he's talking to. You know, Nebuchadnezzar was king over the whole earth. And it went to his head. He got lifted up a little bit too much lifted up. To where the Most High told him he'd be on all fours eating grass. Eating grass. Daniel didn't turn to him, nor did Yahuwah turn to him. He didn't have any respect towards the proud. It's the same way that the master didn't have any respect towards the scribes and the Pharisees. He did not turn to them. See, a lot of us turn to the proud. You know what I'm saying? People who are haughty and lifted up in their own hearts, stubborn and rebellious according to the word. And we turn to them and we get in respect. And then the crazy part is that he tells you that he resisteth the proud and give favor unto the humble. His own word tell you that he ain't with that. But yet we as people, we give respect unto the proud. We turn to the proud and make excuses for them. And say, you know what, brother, it's okay, brother. Knowing this nigga's wrong. Knowing this nigga's not right. I ain't even talking about right and just living. It may necessarily be just a holistic thing. It could just be a single or solitary situation. But that's how we operate that. Because we respect the proud. Yahuwah say, Baruch is the man that don't turn to the proud. Don't turn to sinners. Don't turn to the rebellious. That's going back to Ezekiel 33. But that's a whole nother topic. We look at Daniel chapter 4, right? Verse 23. Make it 22. He said, "It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown and reached unto Shamahim, and thy dominion to the end of the earth." Whereas the king saw a watcher and a Kadosh one coming down from Shamahim, saying, "Hew the tree down and destroy it, yet leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and brass in the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of Shamahim, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field, till 7 times pass over him." This is the interpretation of the king, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which has come upon my master the king. "They shall drive thee from men, and thy dwelling shall be with the beasts of the field, and they shall make thee to eat grass as oxen, and they shall wet thee with the dew of Shamahim. 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High rule in the kingdom of men, and give it to whomsoever he will." Now see, there's come a time where the Most High will go ahead and humble you and bring you down. Because remember, the book of Proverbs tell you pride come before destruction. So I'm sitting here, we're just going through this here for a specific reason. Because he said you Baruch if you don't respect the proud, or don't turn to them. You know, though hand be joined in hand with the wicked, they shall not go unpunished. You know what I'm saying? He told you, when people of this nation of this sort, to have no dealings with them, to separate yourself from them. Look at verse 36 though. We're not going to read this, trying to keep this brief. "At the same time my reason returned unto me, and the esteem of my kingdom, my honor, and my brightness returned unto me. My counselors and my masters sought unto me, and I was established in my kingdom, and excellent majesty was added unto me." We went under that before. If you can't realize this here, this is speaking of the resurrection of Mashiach and his apostles and all those seeking back unto him. "Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and extol thee and honor the king of Shamahim, and all whose works are true, and his ways of judgment. Those that walk in pride, he is able to abase." So Yahuwah does not, again now, that's James chapter 4, he does not respect the proud. Yahuwah does not turn to the proud. So we have to sit back and we have to realize that ourselves, not to turn to the proud. The proud would not humble themselves to the obedience of the word. They will go against it. Because that flesh is weak. The flesh has no desire to submit itself to the word. That's why pride is an example of the flesh. That's carnal. It's carnal behavior. Back to Psalm chapter 40 though. Hallelujah for Yahusha. Psalm chapter 40 verse 4. "Baruch is that man that make Yahuwah his trust, and respect not the proud, nor as such turn aside the lies. Many, O Yahuwah my Elohim, are thy wonderful works which thou hast done. Thy thoughts are to us war, they cannot be reckoned up in order unto thee. And if I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering thou did not desire. My ears hast thou opened. Burnt offering and sin offering thou hast not required. Then said I, Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me. I delight to do thy will. O my Elohim, yea. Thy Torah is within my heart. This man said, I delight to do your will. Now remember, the word kafas is the word for willing. This man just sat back and said, this is, a testimony of a Mashiach. He said he delights to do his will. When we look at will, the word is rason, and it is literally pleasure, delight, favor, goodwill, or acceptance. Again, this goes back to what you seen when the master stated, not my will be done, but thy will be done. Because he had a delight to do this. It was his delight, it was his pleasure to sit back and die. How do we know this was his pleasure? John 18. Just so you know, we good in Psalm chapter 40. We finna make it all make sense. I got to swing it back over here to get that First Chronicle 28. But John 18, just so you know that this was his will, this was his delight to come do this. It just wasn't no, I don't want to do it. I don't know where dude got that from. He didn't want to do it. 18 and 36. Y'all know what it was when he told Peter that in John and Matthew 18 or 16, I should say. When he told him he had to die, Peter said, this will not be so, and he rebuked him. He said, man, you savor of the things that be in men and not Elohim. Or what when he told Peter, he said, how else will the scriptures be fulfilled, man? That was his delight. You remember it said in Hebrews chapter 12, for the joy set before him. He delighted to go die. Because his Ruach was willing. The Ruach delights in the word. The inward man delights in the word. So we have to sit back and look at it. If our inward man don't delight in the word, then we need to kill him and make a new one. So what he told you in Ezekiel, make you a new heart and a new Ruach. You need to make you a new mind then. Let this mind be in you. The same mind that was in Yahushua HaMashiach. Say he became a servant and humbled himself even to the state. That's why Paul said there's certain ones that are enemies of the stake of Mashiach. They're not going to humble themselves and die to them. Are you serious? I think we'll look at that in a moment. John 18 and 36. Yahushua answered, my kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom were of this world, then would my servants fight, that I should not be delivered to the Yahudim. But now is my kingdom not far from hence. Pilate therefore said unto him, art thou a king then? Yahushua answered, thou say that I am a king. To this end I was born, and for this cause I came into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth, hear my voice. Again, going back to what we talking about in Exodus chapter 9. All those that obey my voice, they'll hear my voice. They'll believe on me. This is going to tie into something when we get to Psalms 119, along with blessed is the man who maketh Yah his trust. Now, they say, you didn't give me no offering, no burnt offering, no sacrifice. He said, a body you prepared for me. He was willing to lay his life down for the word. He delighted in that. Daniel told you that the Mashiach would be cut off, but not for himself. Not for himself. We just sat back and read in Matthew 19 that everyone that forsakes everything that they have and lay their life down for the kingdom, they'll get an inheritance. And there'll be jewels that'll be made up. And they'll be spared as a father serves his son. All because you had a delight in serving the man. He say, my word is like a reproach unto them. They have no delight in it. We really don't delight in the word, because if we did, we wouldn't look at it as such a chore and such a bore or something that's taking up our time where we feel like I could be over here doing this or doing that. But instead, I got to do this and I got to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Oh, when will the Sabbath be over? Amos chapter 8, verse 5. And after Amos 8, Isaiah 58. Amos 8, if I can get there. 8 and 5. Make it 4. Hear this, O ye that swallow up the needy, even to make the poor of the land to fail. You know what I'm saying? You know, swallow up the needy, it's the humble. See, the proud, they swallow up the humble. That's why he's saying that. Don't you realize all the people that rolled with the Pharisees were violating Exodus 23 about, wrong judgment and running to do evil? But they also swallowed up the needy and the poor man. The proud went against the humble. And I'm be honest with you too, because I had it in my mind to work it in this here, and Most High willing, I'll do that there. But when you look at the flesh lusting against the Ruach, and the Ruach being willing and the flesh is weak, you can also look at it in the aspect of the people going against Hamashiach was an example of the flesh fighting against the Ruach, trying to get him to not do the things that he should. You can sit back and you can look at him having a delight in the word, being a Ruach, and the people being the flesh or being weak or being diseased, because the word for weak would be diseased or grieved or sore, because they were dead, because they needed healing of the Ruach. They needed the healing of his death to be able to deliver them from that situation, because that's what the flesh is. It's weak, it's diseased, it's sore, it's death. It's literally death. Literally death. One has a delight in death. One has a delight in life. Which one will we choose? The law tells us that in Deuteronomy chapter 30. I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Therefore choose life. Which one will you choose? Because there ain't no in between. We want to in between it with the capping and the front and the flogging. You think, what's crazy? And we think that y'all can't see that we flogging. And I got something for that too. And we definitely think that people can't see that. Like, you don't think niggas can see that you full of crap. You don't think people can see the stuff that you be doing, man? That's bearing bad fruit. You think people can't see that? And it's even worse if somebody who ain't in the word peep you out. See, some of the people that be in the word, they don't want to peep that out because they don't want to acknowledge that somebody who they deal with could be sour. 9 times out of 10, because they sour. So sour people like to be with sour people to heap sour counsel to get a sour deal. You know what I'm saying? Which is fire and worms. And why would you die, O house of Yasharal? Why? Only y'all knows. I don't know. Verse 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone that we may sell corn? And the Shabbat that we may set forth wheat, making the ephah small and the shekel great, and falsifying the balances by deceit. Now I always sit back and look at it. When is it going to be over so I can do what I want to do? I don't got no delight in this. But we're going past just what today is, just a regular Shabbat. They didn't have no delight in no rest. They didn't have no delight in that. Isaiah 58. You know, we talked about that before, man. Are you really keeping the Shabbat? Knowing that the Shabbat means rest. We just talked about it a couple weeks ago, cast out the scorner and the contentions will cease. Cast out Hashatan and you'll have shalom. Keep that in mind too. I got to work at this 9:52. I hope I don't fall. I got a headache and I'm dead tired. Isaiah 58:13. He said, if thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat, from doing thy pleasure on my Kadesh day, and call the Shabbat a delight, the Kadesh of Yahuwah, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thy own ways, nor finding thy own pleasure, nor speaking thy own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahuwah, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. For the mouth of Yahuwah hath spoken it. He said, if you take a delight in the Shabbat, let's look at Hebrews chapter 4 then. And we turn around and we take a delight in resting. And you know, I mentioned Hebrews chapter 4 beforehand. You know, remember what Paul told us, you know? You know what I'm saying? And that's that we ought to cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of flesh and ruach, perfecting kadeshness in the fear of Elohim. Hebrews 4 and 4. Keep in mind that the Shabbat, you know, the Master told you, and get Mark chapter 12 behind this. For he spake in a certain place on the 7th day on this wise, and Elohim did rest the 7th day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore that it remain, that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. Now the first group of your people, they didn't enter in because they didn't believe the word. The first group of people didn't enter in because they didn't believe the word. They didn't die to the word, what we were showing them with that lamb. They didn't realize that they ought to die. And you sit back and you look at being immersed into his death going through the Red Sea. They didn't understand it. They didn't have a delight in that. Because the minute that all these things happened, they were speaking bad. They weren't believing the word. You know what I say, man? A lot of their transgression and sins dealt with their faith. They didn't delight in the man. He didn't make them happy. You know how many people I sit back and see, they say they're not happy because they're serving the living Elohim? What do they do that at? And 9 times out of 10, they're not happy because they're not getting what they want. Because the word is causing your flesh to be subdued. Because we don't have a delight in righteousness, because we don't have a delight in college behavior, because we don't have a delight in denying ourselves, we look at it as it's a burden. You know what I'm saying? The Master told you what profit have a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul. What can a man give in exchange for his soul? What gain does it get if you get everything that you want but you go to hell? What gain did you get? Really, what gain? You know, the prophet Jonah told you those that trust in lies forsake their own mercy. And why he say Baruch is the man who trusteth Make Yahuwah his trust, who respect not the proud, nor turn aside the lies. You know what I'm saying? You turn around and we'll look at what that means when you say turn aside the lies in a moment. I can tell you off the top. You sit, I can read it though. That's hearing the word and going back. Going back to your flesh, going back to the world. You know, it's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? They don't trust y'all, they won't wait on y'all. So they'll turn aside to lies. And it's usually the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who could know it? They allow their own minds to deceive them. The worst lie man could tell is to tell itself that Yah has given or directed him to do something that could be detrimental to his soul. And you really told yourself that. That man ain't told you to go do that. Because that's what you want. Because a lot of times when he told somebody to do something in his word, it wasn't necessarily something that they may have been looking to want to do themselves. Have you ever noticed that, sir? A lot of times when he told them to do something, it wasn't necessarily something they wanted to go do. I don't think Jose was too thrilled to go marry a whore. You know what I'm saying? Look, I mean, I'm talking about, I'm just sitting there and sitting like this, right? He told Jonah ain't want to go preach to some people. How many of y'all gonna sit back and be like, you know what? That's the number one thing I want to do, marry a hoe. She been around the block, used up, threw up, all that there. I'm making my wife. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. You think that man was like, yeah, I sure want to marry her. You know what I'm saying? You think you think Isaiah was just thrilled to walk around butt booking naked? That was the highlight of his day? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that hot. Like they said, come on, man. Naked? Come on, man. You think, come on, Ezekiel like, man, I gotta eat dung? What? Man, I ain't on that. I ain't never did nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man, when he came to Moses, Moses was trying to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful. I'm just sitting back as an example. That don't mean it's like that 100% of the time. Please do not say that I'm taking that 100% of the time. But a lot of the times, when this man gave somebody something, it wasn't necessarily something that they wanted to do. If he hit them off with something that they wanted, it's because they weren't necessarily seeking after what it is that they wanted. You know, another example of turning aside, not turning to the proud, is David not turning towards Nabal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to sit back and look at that, man. Why would I turn to? Because again, the proud are going to be against Yahuwah. Nevertheless, again, he landed in a certain place, certain day, saying to Dawood, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, here it was that word again. If you hear his voice, faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word. The Ruach is not willing because you don't believe the word. You don't delight in the word because you don't believe the word. Today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Yahushua son of Nun had given them rest, then he would have not afterwards spoken of another day. There remained therefore a rest to the people of Elohim. For he that is entered into his rest, he also has ceased from his own works, as Elohim did from his. Now again, I can't say that that's the Hebrew equivalent here, but we know from our Proverbs the word for cease was Shabbat. So if we're seeking rest, and the Master say, come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, I will give you rest. And then the word that we know for rest would be shalom. And we know shalom spelled out is to destroy the authority attached to chaos. So when we look at resting and having a delight, then we begin to get a more massive understanding of what Paul was stating in Romans chapter 7 about there's a war in my members, but I delight after the Torah of Elohim in the inward man. Because the reason being, because he has shalom in his heart, because he has destroyed the authority attached to chaos, because he has offered himself, like Psalms 40 was talking about, because I delight to do thy will, and the will of Elohim was for his son to die to redeem man from death. And he delighted to do that. He delighted to do it. And it's amazing when we sit back and look at this. This is the statement that he's telling his apostles before he dies. The Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. He telling them, I delight to do thy will, Elohim. Thy Torah is in my heart. Thy word, thy instructions, thy prophecies are in my heart. The man sat back and told you that in John 12. This man's instruction is in my heart. I delight in that. I don't know about y'all, I do. That's what he would tell them. We don't delight to die. That's why we don't do it. Psalms 119 and verse 165. Psalms 119 and 165. Hallelujah for the word. Let's delve in it even more deeper. I know I still got to get 1 Chronicles 28. Yahushua chapter 1. You are permitted. We will get there. Yahuwah permitting. We will get there. Psalm 119. Verse 165. And it says, Great shalom have they which love thy Torah, nothing shall offend them. You know, we sit back and we hear that verse, and you know, we have our thoughts of looking at it in English, what we will surmise, what's being expressed, and that's understandable. Not knocking that in the least bit. But tonight we'll go a little deeper under the surface, a little deeper under the. I'm reading that verse though. Yahuwah, I have hope for thy salvation, and have done thy commandments. My soul hath kept thy testimonies. I love them exceedingly. Now, let's begin then. It says great shalom. So we already know that's the destroy the authority attached to chaos. And we know that his Torah is his instructions, law, direction, instruction, body of prophetic teaching, instruction in the Messianic age, body of the priestly direction or instruction. You know what I'm saying? A body of prophetic teaching. Now this man say, great shalom have they which love your instructions. They be able to destroy the authority attached to chaos. But he say nothing will offend them. And what we have to sit back and look at is the offending part. And we're not necessarily going to take this with the master. We're going to take this as pertaining to us through the master. It says nothing shall offend them. That word for nothing shall offend in this place is mishol. It is a stumbling. Means or occasion of stumbling. A stumbling block. An offense. This is what he's telling you about. A stumbling block. A stumbling block. He says those that at great destroying the authority attached to chaos. They that love the prophetic preachers of Mashiach, nothing will cause them to stumble. Nothing will cause them to fall. Nothing will cause them to fall. 1 Peter chapter 1, we'll deal with the love part. Remember what the master told you in John chapter 20? Baruch those, he said, you know, you have seen and believe, but Baruch those who have not seen yet believe. 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 8. Remember now, he said, great shalom have those that love thy Torah. Nothing shall offend them. Nothing shall cause them to fall. After we read 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 8. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15 or 17. We'll see what it is when we get around it. Make it verse 7 in 1 Peter chapter 1. That the trial of your faith being more precious than of gold that perish, though it be tried with fire, might be found in the praise, honor, and esteem at the appearing of Yahushua HaMashiach, whom having not seen ye love, whom though you see him not, yet believing you rejoice with joy unspeakable, full of esteem, receiving the end of your faith, even the salvation of your souls. That was going into verse 166. That was behind that. Now he say, great shalom have those who love thy Torah. Nothing shall cause them to fall. He said, now what manner, let's say you love this man, and you ain't never seen him. And you have this joy, you have this delight in these instructions to receive the end of your faith and the salvation of your souls. Y'all should already know what the word for salvation is. Let's look at Matthew chapter 7, verse 15. Let's look at what something the master told us right here, man. I want you to let this resonate in your brain. Matthew 7 and 15 is cool. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravening wolves. So you have to beware of people, you know what I'm saying? We had Colossians chapter 2 as a reading the other day. I remember we dealt with this a long, long time ago. About a year or so ago. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and get Colossians 2 and 8. Just hold Matthew chapter 7. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world. Matter of fact, back it up to about verse 6. As you have therefore received Yahushua HaMashiach the Master, so walk ye in him. See, if the Ruach is willing, and you delight in the word, and you receive that word, because remember, obey his voice. If you obey my voice indeed, you'll be a peculiar treasure. You know what I'm saying? Which means you will be his jewels. Which means he would make you up and spare you as a father do his own son that serve him. All because you had a delight in the word. And you did, because we're not trying to lean too much to talk about the flesh part. Because the flesh part is dealing with disease and being grieved. And we could deal with that, the flesh being weak and what that is all in of itself. But we're really dealing with the part of delighting in the word. Actually delighting. So we really just want to focus on the willing part, which is kafas. That's the delight, to take pleasure in the word. You know what I'm saying? It says that it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him. It pleased the master to die. It should please us to do the same thing. That's why the master said this. Take up your stake and follow him. If any man forsake everything that he have and follow me in the regeneration, this is what he's going to get. We don't delay. Say, I delight to do thy will, O my Elohim, thy Torah is in my heart. Remember, great shalom have they who love thy Torah. This man said, the Father hath loved me, and I have loved the Father. This is what he told you in John 15, said the Father hath loved him. Because he kept his commandments, abide in my commandments, and you abide in my love as I abide in my Father's love. Because he had great shalom in his heart, because he loved the Torah. He loved to go die. It was a delight. It was a joy for him. He was willing to die. That's what our brother with Trinity turned around to me. See, he didn't want to do it. Of course, he was showing you how the flesh was weak and it was diseased and has a desire to go against the word. But because he had a delight to do the will of Elohim and the word was in his heart, he overcame that. That's why in the same breath he said, if it be possible, let it come past, but not my will be done, but thy will be done. Because that's where his delight was at. So our delight don't be in the word. That's why we have not mortified our members. That's why, like Paul wrote in Galatians chapter 5, we have not crucified the affections and lusts. We haven't done that because we don't have a delight to do the man's will. The man's will is that you believe on his son whom he has sent. If you believe on his son whom he has sent, then you would die with him. And if you would die with him, then you would live with him. And if you would live with him, then you would reign with him. We'll get 1 Timothy chapter 2 behind the Colossians. He said, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith, as you have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Beware, lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after the Mashiach. Again, he's telling you not to turn to the proud. Not to respect the proud, because the respect in our language means to turn. He's telling you, don't you turn to these people, because they're going to cause you to go after the world. They're going to cause you to go after vain deceit. They're going to cause you to die. Why would you die? What's the point in that? What's the point in that? You don't seem to look at it in that aspect because I think a lot of the times, because we don't care. As long as I get what I want, that's all that matters to most of us. Let me get what I want. Let my love be fulfilled. That's why I say with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goes after their covenants. Because this people, when they hear the word of Yahuwah, it's a reproach unto them. They have no delight in it. Look at this 1 Timothy chapter 2, because I referenced it. We just don't go here and do it. Might be 2 Timothy chapter 3. Make sure. 2 Timothy chapter 3 or 3. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 10. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 10. Hallelujah for Yahushua the word. Just consider, just think about, the things that the man is trying to express to us when we look at, he's telling us the Ruach is willing. The Ruach delights in the word. You know what I'm saying? That's why he say, if you turn thy foot from thy Shabbat and call it a delight, if you have a joy to do my will, I cause you to ride upon the high places of the earth. I cause you to do it. Do we delight to do this man's will when it's convenient? Do we delight to do this man's will when we're trying to impress a man or try to impress a woman? Do we delight to do this man's will when we try to impress our peers or impress people online? Or do you just have a true, pure, and genuine delight to do this man's will? You know what I'm saying? Period. You know what I'm saying? Period. You know what some of the, you can know an example of that, right? Let's sit back and say, you lonely. You feel like you don't have any friends. Or you don't have a significant other. Because because you have a desire for a companion. When I'm talking about companion, I'm talking about friends. You may latch yourself on to people who don't follow the word, hoping that they might follow the word, just so you can have some friends. People do this. But if it was your delight to do this man's will, then you would think, just like we were talking about with Nehemiah, I can't come down to you. You got to come up here to me. I'm doing a great work. Not in no snobbish stuff. Not on no look down on you type stuff. Not on that. But just on the fact of I can't risk my life because my flesh is weak and I desire this. So now I no longer delight in doing this man's will by keeping myself sanctified and trusting him, knowing that all things are given unto those who are called according to his purpose and according to his will, and that he gives us all things that we ask that be according to his will. See, that's another thing when we sit back and show that we don't delight in his will. Because we want certain things, but if it don't be according to his will, and we don't want, and then we want something else, we try to force our will to be his will. I told y'all this before, and I'll tell you again. There's absolutely nothing that you could desire that could be greater than what Yah has to give you. You know what I'm saying? See, sometimes we look at what we want versus what Yah wants to give us, and we go, oh, I want that. But what Yah has to give us is going to perfect and complete whatever may be lacking in you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't necessarily got to be people. You know what I'm saying? It could be friends, it could be a spouse, it could be a job, it could be whatever. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, places where you dwell, whatever the case may be. Whatever Yah has to give you is going to be better than what it is that you want. But see, we lack the patience to wait on Yahuwah, therefore get it, so we force it ourselves, and then you get something and you feel like, yeah, Yah gave me that. Yah didn't give you that. He gave you that, but he didn't give you that. He gave you that because that was your heart desire, so he turned you over to it and let you have it. To see what your end was going to be. You know what I'm saying? Versus giving you what he had prepared for you. Always remember what the master told you in Luke chapter 12. It's your Father's good pleasure, little children, to give you the kingdom. Same way he tells you wealth gotten by right is good. Wealth gotten by wrong is nothing. Anything that we have to get and it's got to be garnered and received by committing iniquity to get it, ain't no good going to come from that in the long run. Short term, yeah, that's the same way selling drugs. It's a short term thing where you get good things, but in the long run, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. And that's what an exercise of where your trust in is Yahuwah, to make it Yahuwah your trust, because you would wait. Because you would wait. The people tried to make the master a king before it was his time to be made king. He didn't speed that up and say, make me king. He waited until Yahuwah made him king. Till Yahuwah made him king. Till Yahuwah made him. Think about that. He could have, not only did Satan tempt him on becoming a ruler before it was time. The people tried to make him a king before it was time. And he resisted that versus, I know that I'm going to be king. I know that I'm going to have dominion. But I'll wait on Yahuwah for Yahuwah to give it to me, because the dominion and rule and power and authority that he has to give is greater than the dominion and rule and authority that these men have to give, or that Hashatan has to give. Because then it would no longer be being delighting in doing his will and receiving what he has for me. It would be me delighting in doing my own will and trying to cover it up and make it his. That's what we do. You know how dumb we had to be to thank Yah for getting things that we achieved by doing wrong? We thanking Yah for sin. I did wrong. And when I say sin, I'm talking about unbelief. I ain't even talking about action. I'm talking about unbelief. Unbelief. That's borderline blasphemy. To thank this man for giving you something that is the product of iniquity. The product of unbelief, and you're going to thank him for it. You thanking this man for killing you, because he going to kill you for what you got. Thank you, Father. I appreciate that blessing. And he said, I know you is. Wait till you catch this sword, though. Because you actually believe that I gave you that for your benefit and your profit. I gave you that so I could kill you, because you did not trust in me and hope in me when I gave you the opportunity to go right and you chose to go left. When I put you on a straight and narrow path and you decided I want to go back to Mizraim. That is ugly. That is ugly. Ain't no way around that. Ain't no way to. Ain't no way, you know what I mean? Like, shoot, what? You sit there and sit there thinking in your brain, what happens when you tap the gas when you should have just put it in park and waited? Woo-hoo! Hearts of men move too fast sometimes. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 10. Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Yahushua HaMashiach with eternal esteem. It is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we believe not, yet he abide faithful, he cannot deny himself. Come on, Romans chapter 8, since I mentioned it, come back, and then we come back to Matthew chapter 7. Again, when we sit back talking about delighting in the word, how many ready to die? Because that's really boiled it down to when he made that statement, when he told them that. Watch and pray lest you enter into temptation. Don't you realize that he was tempted to bump the giant? That was a temptation in itself, whether you realize it or not. That was his last temptation, truth be told. That was about his last temptation. He was tempted on being, as forth as not believing and trusting in Yahuwah to try to save his own life. But instead, in the face of that temptation, he was already watching, he was already praying. Therefore, he didn't enter into that temptation, because his heart and his desire was to do the will of Elohim. Therefore, he overcame that temptation. Therefore, overcame death, overcame the world to deliver all of us from that state. And we have the nerve, audacity, and unmitigated gall not to believe and not to follow. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell y'all something real. I'm going to give y'all a piece of myself. I'm going to tell y'all something real. I used to post word all the time, just because I had a desire to share it with my peers. When I say my peers, I'm talking about people whom I actually know. If other people who I didn't actually know seen it and appreciated it, praise the Lamb. You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah all day long. Hallelujah times infinity. And that's real. But I was really doing that more so for people who I actually know in the flesh, who know my real name, know my nickname, people who I've seen, people who I've sat down and talked with, people whose house I've been at, people whom I actually know in real life. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. No disrespect to people I don't know in real life. But that was the motivation. Now I purposely, outside of just sharing the memory when they come out, I purposely don't put nothing up about the word on purpose. Because whether I post about the word or not is not to know how serious I am or what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. If we're going to judge it by that. Because Paul said, you know my manner of life, not the manner of what I do here, there, and there. What it is and how you live. Because we scream a lot of things about how we live, niggas full of crap, though. Niggas is not 100, though. And niggas know they not 100. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know the saying, real recognize real. People see straight through you now. People see straight through you. We don't want to believe that people see straight through you. But they see straight through you. Transparent glass. Niggas game raggedy. Niggas sit back and call your whole playbook out, man. That's bad news. That's bad forbidden when niggas know what you're going to do before you do it. That's how transparent and see-through people are. We got to do better than that, my people. I'm talking about everybody. I ain't excluding myself. Every single solitary human being, and Romans 8:14. Every single solitary human being under the, make it 13. Make it 12. Every single solitary human being on the face of this planet that professes to serve the living out, he got to do better. It's always room for improvement. You breathing. If you breathing, you can do better. When you're dead, you can't do no better because it's over with. Hopefully you had done fought the good fight of faith and the crown laid up for you. But as long as you breathe it, you can do better. Fact of the matter is, do you want to do better? Do you want to be great? Therefore, brethren, we are debtors, not to the flesh, to live after the flesh. You don't owe the flesh nothing. You don't owe death nothing. You know why you don't owe death nothing? Because the master done paid that price. You owe him. You don't owe debt. You don't owe a debt. You don't owe death. You don't owe nothing to that at all. You don't owe anything to be sick and diseased and grieved and dead and weak. You don't owe that to nothing. For as many as are led by the Ruach of Elohim, they are the sons of Elohim. For you have not received the Ruach of bondage again to fear, but you have received the Ruach of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Ruach itself bear witness with our Ruach that we are the children of Elohim. If children and heirs with our heirs of Elohim, then joint heirs with Mashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, we may be also esteemed together. See, this is what nobody want to do. This goes back to the Ruach is willing and the flesh is weak. That man was willing to suffer. That man rose from the dead. That man said, ought not Mashiach had suffered to enter into his esteem. That man was willing to suffer. Remember Psalm 40, I delight to do thy will, O my Elohim. Let's go and read Hebrews chapter 12. We come back to Matthew chapter 7. Hebrews chapter 12, where it quoted that, where you can sit back and say, he said, body is prepared for me. Each one of us got a body prepared. Brought to my right now. You in it. You can touch right now. You can feel your flesh right now. Some of y'all niggas skin dry. Some of you niggas skin ain't. But you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? You know you alive. And that body was prepared for you to mortify your members and to sacrifice yourself with Mashiach so you can have a delight to die just like he had a delight to die. How many of y'all going to go get on the stake willingly? That man had a pleasure to go die. And we're going to read, I mentioned in word Hebrews 12, we're going to get it though. Because I still got to finish this Psalm 119, and y'all know I got to touch it for Chronicles 28 before we depart from it. Dang, I forgot where I came from. Oh yeah, Hebrews chapter 10. Hebrews 10 and 4. Hebrews 10 and 4. You gotta ask yourself, the Ruach is willing. That means delight. Kafat. How many of y'all delight to do the man's will? And I ain't talking about delight to keep no Sabbath. I ain't talking about delight not to eat no shrimp and no pork. Nigga, that's weak stuff. Nigga, that's simple stuff. Ain't no delight in that. You just doing it because it said don't do it. That don't mean you delight in it. Nigga might go to sleep daydreaming about a ham sandwich. You know what I'm saying? Walk around here thinking about catfish. I don't know what it is. I pray the Lamb. I pray the Lamb. I ain't got no friends on my timeline that got that video, but these niggas been talking about some video of the most disgusting, vile things. Somebody talking about they on the video having sex with a woman on her cycle, and I'm sitting there like, why would you niggas even watch that? You know what I'm saying? They've been going hard by about 2-3 days talking about people just leaking sex tapes on Facebook. Ain't nobody leaking no sex tape on Facebook, and you niggas watching it too. I'm talking about they say this stuff extra nasty. Matter of fact, I think my homeboy said in the video where the lady was having sex on her cycle, the baby was in the room. Just compound make it work. You know what I'm saying? Just make it work. Just disgusting. And this is the state that the world is in. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to incline yourself to the flesh. It's easy to incline yourself to do the thing that you want to do. But how many of y'all would actually delight to go die? Some of y'all delight to go gratify your flesh. How many of y'all gonna delight to go die though? How many of y'all was happy to find out I gotta die? Or how many of y'all was like the rich ruler? I got a lot of possessions. I ain't selling nothing. I ain't selling all that I have. I'm not selling the fornication. I'm not selling the lust. I'm not selling the lies. I'm not selling the idolatry. I'm not selling the pride. I'm not selling the maliciousness. I'm not selling the intent. I'm not selling the unbelief. I'm not selling all of these things that I might be perfect. I'm going to keep hold of that. This nigga talking stupid. This nigga talking stupid. You know what I'm saying? I don't like to go die. I'd like to stay alive, sir. We live like the rich ruler. You know what I'm saying? Though he had many great possessions, we got many great possessions. There's the desires and intents in our heart. We refuse to sell it. Romans 10:4. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he come into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou would not, but a body thou hast prepared me. And burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hast no pleasure. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O Elohim. Above, when he said, sacrifice and burnt offering and offering for sin thou would not, neither have pleasure therein, which are offered by the Torah. Then said he, lo, I come to do thy will, O Elohim. He take away the first, that he may establish the second, by which we are all sanctified through the offering of the body of Yahushua HaMashiach once and for all. So this man turned around and told the disciples to watch and pray, because the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. We turn around looking at this man say that he delighted to die. The writer of this epistle in Hebrews is telling us the same thing. The master, I tell y'all Luke 9:23 religiously. You come back to Matthew chapter 7. If any man come after me, let him take up his stake daily and follow me. You have to delight to go die. That rich ruler didn't delight to go die. When the master told them people they had to eat his flesh and drink his blood, they stopped walking with him because they didn't want to die. Some of y'all don't want to die. And the word part is you gonna die. You can die now and live later, or you can live now and die later. Choice yours. Choice yours. You can die now and live later, or you can live now and die later. Choice yours. It's all on you. It's up to you. But it's going to come down to where's your delight at. Do you truly delight in this man's will? And the will for the son was to die. Period. Matthew chapter 7, move here. Verse 16. I'll read 15 again. Beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. Do men gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Even so, every good tree bring forth good fruit, but a corrupt tree bring forth evil fruit. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Some people want to say, "But I can't get it right because you wicked, nigga. How is old corrupt tree, old dead tree gonna bring forth some good fruit, some good life? That thing ain't gonna bring forth nothing. If you want the fruit to be good, then make the tree good." Every tree that bring not forth good fruit is hewn down and cast into the fire. Wherefore by their fruits you shall know them. Not everyone that saith unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom of Shamaim, but he that do the will of my Father which is in Shamaim. The will of your Father in Shamaim is for you to die. To die and follow the framework of his Son. To be in his Son and his Son to be in you. That's the will of the Father. How many of you think the will of the Father just for you to not eat pork chops and keep Shabbat? You had that before the man came. That's all we like to talk about. I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to sit back and think about what all people like to talk about. Where your friends is at. I don't know pork on my fork. Shrimps and lobsters and crabs and roaches and scavengers. The Shabbat, whether you talk about a lunar Shabbat or the Shabbat ain't on Sunday, whatever the case may be, let's talk about. What else? What we got? Should women have their head covered or uncovered? Can a man pray with their head covered or uncovered? Can a woman preach? What else I talking about? 12 tribe charters, Esau the white man. This is what niggas like to talk about. Thinking they doing this man's will. When the will the whole time was for you to believe on him whom he has sent and to die with him. And to die with him. To have a delight to do it. Paul wrote in one of his epistles, but he was talking about giving, like literal giving. But I'm just saying that the framework of what he was talking about. But he's talking about literal giving, though. So I just want you to keep that in context. That chapter in Corinthians what I'm referring to, he talking about giving to the poor. But he said that Elohim accepts a cheerful giver. You know what I'm saying? Yahushua cheerfully gave his life up. And therefore the Father accepted that. See, a lot of us begrudgingly give our life up. That's why we actually haven't given it up. See, he's not going to accept that because it's not coming from the heart. This is not it's like when the law says when anybody come to give a free will offering. See, all the people delighted to give a free will offering. It was a delight to the people to offer themselves. I think I have a verse for that in mind in 1 Chronicles, if I'm not mistaken. We don't have that delight. How would I probably be? Matter of fact, come over to 1 Chronicles 29. Let me see that what I got. Bear with me, man. I got a lot. It's a lot in the brain, man. We still got to finish Psalm 119. Forgive me. It's a lot. I ain't even hit the stumbling block yet. I got to hit the stumbling block. I just got all the words in here. I just got to hit the stumbling block. Matter of fact, let's hit that stumbling block now. Well, I put it this way, right? He said, those that have great shalom. Well, he said, they'll have great shalom, those who love that Torah. Nothing shall cause them to stumble. Nothing shall cause them to fall. Nothing causes the master to fall. You know, he told you in Isaiah chapter 8, where he sat back and he told you how that he should be a stumbling block and a rock of offense to both of the houses of Yasharal, a gin and a snare to all inhabitants of Jerusalem. And, you know, Peter told you in 1 Peter chapter 2 about how Hamashiach would be a stone of stumbling and a rock of offense to those who are appointed to death. And it made me sit back and it made me think about the gentleman who I was speaking with about was Hamashiach Elohim or not. And it's to show you that people don't have that great love. 1 John chapter 5. Whole 1 Chronicles 29. 1 John chapter 5, verse 9. A lot of people don't have that great love for the word. Because remember to love Yahuwah with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength. We dealt with that. That's to believing. It's two things that are a central theme in this word. Three things, actually. One is faith in Elohim. Which really the third thing I was going to say really tie into have faith in Elohim. And that's loving Elohim and then loving your brother as yourself. If you trust and hope in Elohim, then you would love your brother as you love yourself and you would love Elohim. The second common thing is suffering for the word, dying for the word. Offering yourself for the word. The sacrifice of your life. You shout out. You know what I'm saying? Sacrifice of your life. Sacrifice of your life. That's the common theme, to die, to suffer. The theme of suffering is all throughout the Torah and the Tanakh. It's all throughout it. It's all throughout it. That's the common. Faith and suffering are the common themes of this word. Faith and suffering. And that suffering coinciding with sacrifice. It's a common theme. 1 John 5 and 9, if we receive the witness of men, the witness of Elohim is greater, for this is the witness of Elohim which he testified of his Son. He that believed on the Son of Elohim hath witnessed in himself. He that believed not Elohim hath made him a liar, because he believed not the record that Elohim gave of his Son. And this is the record that Elohim hath given us to us, eternal life, and this life is in his Son. He that hath the Son hath life. He that have not the Son of Elohim have not life. Those are strong words. John chapter 3 and verse 30. Those are strong words. In order to have a son, you have to be willing to die. You have to be willing to die. Meaning that you would have a delight in the word. You would have a delight. Watch and pray. that you enter not into temptation, because the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh is diseased and grieved. The flesh seeks for you to do the things that you ought not. The Ruach delights to fulfill what the word says. John chapter 3. Verse 33. He that received his testimony has set to his seal that Elohim is true. It's the same thing that's written in the book of Isaiah. Seal my disciples. For he whom Elohim has sent speak the words of Elohim, for Elohim give not the Ruach by measure unto him. The Father loved the Son and hath given all things into his hand. He that believe on the Son hath everlasting life. He that believe not the Son shall not see life, but the wrath of Elohim abide on him. What is the will of Elohim but to believe on his Son? Come over here to 1 Chronicles chapter 29. 1 Chronicles 29, right? We'll start at verse 1. I got to speed it up. It's 10:37. Furthermore, David the king said unto all the congregation, Solomon my son, whom alone Elohim hath chosen, is yet young and tender, and the work is great, for the palace is not for man, but for Yahuwah Elohim. Now I have prepared with all my might for the house of my Elohim the gold things to be made of gold, and the silver for things of silver, and the brass for things of brass, and the iron for things of iron, and the wood for things of wood, and onyx stones, and stones to be set, glittering stones of diverse colors, and all manner of precious stones and marble stones in abundance. Now ain't that something? We just already talked about, come over here to 2 Timothy chapter 2, right, about verse 20. Now we already talked about this here. He's saying the house of his Elohim, he got gold for gold, silver for silver, brass for brass, and iron for iron, wood for wood. But then he said he got his onyx stones, and his stones to be set, glittering stones of different colors, precious stones, in abundance. This is also tied back into the Revelation chapter 7, a number of people at the throne which you cannot number, because he already dealt with that. He said you would be his jewels, because you would be his peculiar treasure, because you obeyed his voice. Therefore, you would be his in the time that he made up his jewels. And he would spare you, because this is what would be in his house. And we already seen those precious stones surrounding the house, or surrounding New Jerusalem. This is what's going to be in his house. You. If you obey this man's voice, you can be his treasure, his jewels, his precious jewels. But 2 Timothy 2:19. Nevertheless, the foundation of Elohim stands sure, having this seal. The master knows that are his. And let everyone that name the name of Mashiach depart from iniquity. But in a great house there are not only vessels of gold and of silver, and also of wood and earth, and some to honor and some to dishonor. If a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, and meet for the master's use, and prepared to every good work. Flee also youthful lust, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, shalom, which them that call on the master out of a pure heart. Come on, man, the first one. So it's amazing that he said he had all these things prepared for in his house, and Yahuwah has all these things prepared for in his house. Now the question is going to be, are you going to be a vessel under honor or a vessel under dishonor? Are you going to be able to be used by the master, or are you going to be burnt out? We in verse 3 for Chronicles 29. Moreover, because I set my affection to the house of my Elohim, I have my own proper good of gold and silver, which I have given to the house of Elohim, over and above all that I have prepared for the Kadesh house. Even 3,000 talents of gold and the gold of Ophir, 7,000 talents of refined silver to overlay the walls withal. The gold for things of gold and silver for things of silver, and for all manner of work to be made by the hands of the artificers. Now, when we look at all manner of work to be made by the artificers, we're just going to pull that word for artificers real quick. Right? Listen what he said, right? All these things for all manner of work made by the artificers. The word is karash, and it's an engraver, a graver, an artificer, or skillful to destroy, or another word is a carpenter. And we know that the master was a carpenter. And when we look in Ephesians chapter 2, it says that we are the workmanship of Elohim. Let's see that. And remember, he just said you have in a house that you have gold and silver in a great house. So for honor, this man is sitting back looking to fashion you according to being able to dwell in his house. But you have to be willing. You have to be willing to die. You have to be willing to die. You have to have that delight. Because when you look at what David was talking about, David has such a delight in building his house and placing these things in his house. And you have to have a delight to build a house of Elohim for him, which is your body. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 19. Verse 19. Verse 10 is what I desire. But I'll do verse 7. That in the ages to come he might show the exceeding riches of his favor and his kindness towards us through Yahushua HaMashiach. Which you see what David was doing. For by favor are you saved through faith, and it is not of yourselves, it is the gift of Elohim. Not of works, lest any man should boast. For we are his workmanship, created in Yahushua HaMashiach unto good works, which Elohim have before ordained that we should walk in them. Consider, come back to 1 Chronicles 29. Considering that we're looking at that the vessels of silver and gold that we read in 2 Timothy were vessels that were meet for the master's use, or for good works, which this man had already appointed that we should walk in that. That's such something to consider. We in verse 6. 1 Chronicles 29. To the chiefs of the fathers and the princes of the tribes of Yasharal and the captains of thousands and of hundreds with the rulers of the kings, work offered willingly, and gave for the service of the house of Elohim of gold 5,000 talents, and 10,000 drams of silver, and 10,000 talents, and of brass 18,000 talents, and 100,000 talents of iron. And they with whom precious stones were found gave them to the treasure of the house of Yahuwah by the hand of Jehiel the Gershonite. Then the people rejoiced, for that they offered willingly, because with perfect heart they offered willingly to Yahuwah. And Daud the king also rejoiced with great joy. And I say they offered willingly. Willingly. But now we're going to look at that word for perfect. Because there's a word for perfect here. And we have to look at it. Let's look at this word for perfect. Say the people offered willingly. So they delighted to do this. And they delighted to do it with a perfect heart. And the word for this here is shalom. It is to be complete, safe, peaceful, perfect, whole, or a covenant of shalom in the mind. Now we already talked about, and so started in Psalm 119, that great shalom have all those who love thy Torah. Nothing will cause them to stumble, nothing will cause them to fall. These people delighted in offering themselves willingly, offering these things willingly, therefore they entered into a covenant of peace. A covenant of peace. Now keep that in mind with this covenant of peace, because the covenant of peace was made because the master offered himself willingly with a perfect heart. Because this man say, I delight to do thy will, thy Torah is in my heart. Because the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. When you have a delight to do this man's will, and with a complete, you'll be at rest knowing that the authority attached to chaos, so that the adversary will be crushed. Matter of fact, Romans chapter 16. We good at 1 Chronicles 29. I'll say some more of them, because I got something in Judges with all that offering willingly. I don't have time. Romans 16 and 17. And we'll come back to Psalms 119, because I have to run that down, and then I'll get ready to close this out. Because it is 10:45. Romans 16 and 17. So the whole crux and point of what we're talking about this evening is this. That the Ruach being willing and the flesh is weak, that when he's telling you the Ruach is willing, he's telling you that the inward man delights to do the will of Elohim, it delights to do the word, it delights to die. Look at the context and framework of when the statement was being made. He was about to die. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which you have learned, and avoid them. For they are such, serve not our master Yahushua HaMashiach, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. You know, I mentioned that verse beforehand. That's in Philippians. When Paul states that they're enemies of the stake of Mashiach. You have people who are enemies, they don't delight to die. When they sat back and see that, it said the people had great joy because the people with a perfect heart offered willingly. They delighted to give the Elohim. We don't delight to give nothing to Elohim. That's why Cain ended up in the position that he was in. He didn't have a delight. He didn't delight. It wasn't a joy for him. It was all I got to do it. That's why he got what he got. He said, for your obedience has come abroad unto all men. I'm glad, therefore, on your behalf, but yet I would have you wise unto that which is good and simple concerning evil. And the Elohim of Shalom shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The favor of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach be with you. Amen. So again, look what he's telling you. He will destroy the authority attached to chaos shortly. Be patient. Because your obedience has come on broad unto all men. All because the Master was willing to offer himself willingly. And if you were willing to follow suit, he'll do the same. There's nothing that Yahuwah is going to do for us that he didn't already do for his son. So whatever he did for his son, he's going to do it for us too. Psalm 119 and 165. So we can finish. And then we tie that shalom in with the shalom and all this stuff. All this stuff go together, man. Praise Yah for the word. Give me a second to pull these other words up. I already saved it. That's just me. So when we see in 166 that nothing to cause anybody to stumble who believe in the Mashiach. How you going to stumble when you believe in the Mashiach? You know, Jude told you that they're under him that's able to keep you from falling, building yourself up in your Mokadesh faith, playing in the Ruach HaKodesh continually. Because there was a great love in your mind, for the prophetic teachings and speakings of Yahushua HaMashiach. Nothing could cause you to stumble. You can't be in a rock of offense. You built upon a sure house. We still got to finish Matthew chapter 7. I'm going to get to it. I need to finish that now. But let me pull these words out in 166 of this Psalms. It says, Yahuwah, I have hoped. It said, I have hoped in Yahuwah. That's what it say, right? That word for hope in this particular verse is savar, and it's to expect, examine, wait, to wait upon. That's what it means. Then we turn around and we look for thy salvation, and you know, in this particular thing, it's going to say Yeshua. But we know it's going to say Yahushua. It's salvation, right? So deliverance, or the welfare, or the salvation, or the victory. The victory. The victory. Think about that and weigh that in your heart. Think about that and weigh that in your heart, what that's telling you. You inspected and you waited on the salvation. You waited on Mashiach. That's what that's telling you. All because you knew nothing would cause you to stumble. See, it's meant, and we're going to get to that stumbling part once I finish this. Just Matthew chapter 7. Give me 1 second. Off the verse there. So when we sit back and we look at it and say, Yahuwah, I have hope for thy salvation, I have done thy commandments. You say, my soul hath kept thy testimonies, I love them exceedingly. Remember now, this is all talking about your king. So when we look at expecting or examining, expecting and examining is a verse that we start with every week. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. He said, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. And we turn around and we sit back and we expect, you know, it's the same thing Acts chapter 17 said. They search the scriptures daily to see if those things are so. You should be once you've expected and examined the scriptures, now because that's what the hope is. Hope is evidence of things hoped for and things not seen. Faith come by hearing and hearing come by the word. If you've examined and inspected the word, therefore your hope would be in the Son Elohim. Just like the book tell you. Just like what Paul was writing in his epistles, and they wonder where he get it from.
That you waiting for that blessed hope at the coming of Yahushua HaMashiach. Why would you think? Because David already told you about it. David was sitting back, these niggas sit back and say, where's his name at in the scripture? Well, there it is, nigga. And it said that they examining and they waiting on it. It's right there. They niggas don't care, they won't look at that. Because it don't say Yahushua right there. It say salvation. Well, that's what the man name means. It said I waited on that. And I had great shalom in my heart, and nothing would cause me to stumble because I believed in him. So therefore, he said, I kept thy testimonies, I loved them exceedingly. This man loved to die. He loved the Father enough to come die. Do we love Yahushua enough to die with him? I don't think a lot of us do. Because if we do, we would have been did it. Because it said he delighted to do thy will, O Elohim, thy Torah is in my heart. Going right back to that Psalm 119, great love. Great shalom have those who love thy law. Nothing causes them to fall. Matthew chapter 7. I might say that part of 1 Chronicles 28 for on tomorrow. I'm not trying to jam that. Especially with the courageous, with that constant part. Because we talked about that constant before we had the difficulties with those on the phone heard it. And that constant is something that I'll take my time with. Matthew chapter 7, right? Verse 21. Not every one that saith unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom of Shamaim, but he that do the will of my Father which is in Shamaim. We look at everybody didn't enter into the wilderness, into the kingdom within the wilderness. Why? Because of unbelief. Many will say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in our name? Say, well, what we preaching on corners? I witness the word to everybody. I posted on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube every day. I was always talking about the word, brother. I was always. He said, in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. Then will I profess unto them, I never knew you, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. Ooh. So again, to sit back and look at, he say so we have to sit back and look at, doing this man will is not just talk about no word, working a miracle or two. It ain't more to it than that. Let's read Luke 13 just to sit back and where you can hear him say it in a different way. Just in a different way. Maybe you need to let it sink in and you hear it in a different way. Some hard words, man. Them hard words, man. Luke 13 and 22, them hard words, man. It's a straight gate, man. And to get in, you got to have faith in death. You got to have faith. You got to die. You got to delight in dying. You got to delight in dying. Nobody delights in dying. Nobody wants to die. But he said everybody want to live, no one want to die. No man wants to die. Everybody want to live, though. That man said if we suffer with him, we'll reign with him. If we die with him, we'll live with him. We read it. But you got to delight in that. I say, man, you know what delight in? How many of y'all would get stoned? It'd be funny, too, because dude, I seen a dude posting a video. He was preaching in the street. Dude talking about, we ain't no Christians. Like, they were taking pride in the fact that we would fight back. You don't see the apostles doing that. They took pride in getting stoned for the word. Don't you know, Stephen, because the master said, easily I could call on 12 legions of the Malachim to smash everybody. But I delight to die. I delight to die. It's a joy for me. Peter didn't rejoice that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name. Stephen didn't fight back. He could have. But they knew in their death that Elohim would be esteemed. And they understood the sacrifice of Mashiach. And of course, Mashiach knew, he said, no man take my life from me, I lay it down. So he delighted to do his will because he was willing to die. He was willing to die. He was willing to die. He delighted to die. The same thing we look at those people delighting. And we got to touch that covenant of shalom too. It's only in a couple places we'll talk about it. We're going to look at it before we leave. Luke 13:22. And he went through the cities and villages, teaching and journeying towards Jerusalem. Then one said unto him, Master, are there few that be saved? And he said unto them, Strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able. When once the master of the house is risen up and have shut to the door, ye begin to stand without and knock at the door, saying, Master, Master, open unto us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not whence you are. I don't know who you are. Who are you? Who are you? He said, it's your son Esau. He said, I already gave the blessing, man. I already gave it. Then you shall begin to say, we have eaten and drunk in our presence, and thou hast taught in our streets. But he shall say, I tell you, I know you not whence ye are. Depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity. And there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, when you shall see Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and all the prophets in the kingdom of Elohim, and you yourselves thrust out. And you're going to find yourself thrust out for one reason and one reason alone, because you didn't offer yourself willingly. You didn't delight in dying. You did not make you didn't offer with a perfect heart, a perfect and complete heart to have a covenant of shalom. Let's look at that covenant of shalom. 37:26 Ezekiel. You're approaching 11 o'clock hour. Approaching 11 o'clock hour. Ezekiel 37. Huh? Ezekiel 37:26. Make it 25. Ezekiel 34 and 25. After Ezekiel 34 and 25, Isaiah 54. After Isaiah 54, Hebrews 13. Ezekiel 34 and 25, Isaiah 54, Hebrews 13. And we got Matthew chapter 7 on the day. He said he did it with a perfect heart, so he had a covenant of peace. Covenant of shalom, an agreement. The tie of shalom, that's what they had. He said, I will make a covenant of shalom and will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. He said he'll cause the evil beasts to fall out of the land. Now the Jude told you about some evil beasts. I guess we might need to go look at what Jude told you about them evil beasts. Hold on. We might need to look at, I'm just going to look at something. We might need to look at what Jude told you about the evil beasts. We got 2.7. So he said he'll call the evil beast to come out of the land now. When we look at beasts, it's just going to be, the word is kahi, and it is living, alive, green, flowing, fresh water, lively, active men, relatives, or literal animals. But it also can be a wild beast, a company, or a congregation, or a troop. Literal people. And he said he'll call them to cease out of the land, or the land that has shalom, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. He said they'll dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. So let's sit back and look at what he means when he said by wild beast, pistol of Jude. Because when we put the word, it can literally be referring to a congregation or assembly of men. Let's look at the Epistle of Jude. Epistle of Jude, about verse 9, make it 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Likewise also these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities. Yet Michael the Malachim, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, Yahuwah rebuked thee. But these speak evil of those things which they know not, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, and those things they corrupt themselves. So he's sitting back saying, beast, brute beasts is also just dealing with carnal. Carnal, flesh is weak, causes you to move and behave like an animal. So then he say that the evil beasts will come out of the land. You should already know this man told you in the Psalms that all the congregation of the wicked shall be destroyed. Whether you look in Psalm chapter 1, Psalms chapter 2, Proverbs chapter 2, my apologies, or Psalms 101, or just what the master sat back and told what we just read in Luke 13, you'll be thrust out and there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Only the people that we sit back here and make a covenant of shalom, he's saying you'll dwell in the wilderness and in the woods. This will take you to Ezekiel 38 when he's sitting back telling you about dwelling in unwalled villages. You know, another place in Ezekiel, in the 36th chapter, when he talks about the bringing together of sticks, he said he make a covenant of shalom with you. And he tell you that David would be your king, and there would be no longer two nations, but one nation. And they would all serve him. Because the authority attached to chaos would be destroyed. He told you in Romans chapter 6, verse 14, to not sin reign in your mortal bodies. And that if you resist the devil, he will flee from you. In order to resist the devil, you must delight in the word. To delighting in the word will cause that covenant of shalom, because then you would offer yourself with a perfect and complete heart. See, the master had a perfect and complete heart when he offered himself. That's why he was a vessel meet for the Father's use. We have to have a perfect and complete heart. A covenant of shalom already exercised in our minds that we would be willing to do this. Isaiah 54 and 7. We don't be willing to offer ourselves. For a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness I will have mercy on thee, saith Yahuwah, thy Redeemer. Hey, that's the master. What did the master say? For a small moment I have forsaken thee, my Elohim, why hast thou forsaken me? Great mercies, he gathered him out of that grave. He definitely hid his face from him for a little moment, but with everlasting kindness he rose from the dead. What do you think he's going to do with us? For this is as the waters of Noah unto me. For as I swore that the waters of Noah should no more go over the earth, so have I sworn that I would not be wroth with thee nor rebuke thee. For the mountains shall depart and the hills be removed, but my kindness shall not depart from thee. Neither shall the covenant of my shalom be removed, saith Yahuwah, that have mercy on thee. When you look at the mountains departing and the hills being removed, all you got to do is go sit back and look at Zechariah 14 in verse 4 when it tell you when the mountain comes and all this stuff splits. And then the prophet Joel told you about this here, that the people would be scared, but he would be the strength and hope of his people, the children of Yasharal. Because that covenant shalom that he made, come over here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Sit back where he said, you know, a covenant is an agreement. You see the Ruach HaKodesh, the Ruach in you, and you and the Ruach, you and the master in you, and you had that covenant shalom. He said, you know, be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. He said, my peace I leave you with, not what the world leave. Because great shalom have those who love thy Torah. Nothing will cause them to stumble. Ain't nothing going to cause you to fall. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Verse 9. Make it 6. Make it 8. Make it 6. Make it 5. Ye are the children of the light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of the darkness, therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for a helmet the hope of salvation. This man just sat back and told you, put on the mind of Yahushua HaMashiach. Going right back to what we read in Psalm 119, verse 166. My hope is in thy salvation. I've examined Yahushua, and I wait on him. And this is what Paul is telling you. And then listen to the next thing he says after that. For our even not appointed us unto wrath, but to obtain salvation by our master Yahushua HaMashiach, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Which I have something I want to touch on that as well, but I'm not going to get to that tonight. You will willing on tomorrow. But again, that covenant of shalom spares you from, he hasn't appointed you to that wrath because he just said that in Isaiah 54. He's telling you that in Ezekiel 34. He's saying in Ezekiel 36, he has not appointed you to that. That's not the covenant that he made with those who have offered themselves willingly. Because the Master said, drink, this is my blood of the new covenant, which is shed for the many remission of sins. He offered himself willingly to make a covenant with shalom, therefore that you would not be appointed to wrath, but the shalom that passes all things, that passes all understanding, that your soul might be spared. But you're going to have to be willing to offer yourself willingly. Hebrews 13 and 19. Make it 13 and 17. Make it verse 15. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Elohim continually. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. But to do good and to communicate, forget not, for which such sacrifice Elohim is well pleased. Obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves till they watch for your souls, as they must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for this is unprofitable for you. Pray for us, we trust, we have a good conscience in all things, willing to live honestly. Again, they delight to live right. You got to have a delight to live right. You got to have a delight to sacrifice yourself. David had a delight to live right. The prophets had a delight to live right. Hamashiach had a delight to live right. We have to have a delight to live right. We have to have the delight to offer ourselves. And we need to have a perfect and complete mind when doing it. Not having the mind that Cain had, but having the mind that Abel had. Which would be representative of having the mind that Hamashiach has. But I beseech you the rather to do this, that I may be restored to you sooner. Now the Elohim of Shalom that brought again from the dead our master Yahushua, which we just read in Isaiah 54, that great shepherd of the sheep, through the blood of the everlasting covenant, make you perfect in every good work to do his will, working in you that which is well pleasing in his sight, through Yahushua HaMashiach, to whom be esteemed forever and ever. I mean, that's what you just sit back and realize is that blood, which I just mentioned, of that covenant, is what brings that shalom in. You know what I'm saying? He said, endeavoring to keep the unity of shalom. Well, Ephesians 4 and 4. 4 and 3 actually. It say, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Ruach and the bond of shalom. There's one body and one Ruach, and you are called in one hope of your calling. One master, one faith, one baptism, one Elohim, and Abba of all, who is above all and through all and in you all. And that's going to come through the Father was in the Son because the Son believed and obeyed. And we have to follow that same framework. Matthew chapter 7. Finish Matthew chapter 7. And then Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. And you start right there. Matthew 7 and 24. Therefore, whosoever hear these sayings of mine and do them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Because nothing will cause you to fall, there will be no stone in it. And everyone that heareth these sayings of mine, do them not, and do them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon the house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. But because you don't have a love for Mashiach and a love for things that are speaking of him, he becomes a stumbling block, and you will fall. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing that we are also compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run the race with patience. Run with patience the race that is set before us. Looking unto Yahushua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the state, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of Elohim. So, hallelujah for Yahushua. So, the key thing of what we were looking at this evening was this one key point. He said we didn't deal with the flesh, we and weak part. We didn't deal with that. Most I wouldn't come out of that. We didn't deal with that. What we dealt with was this. The Ruach, he said, watch and pray lest you enter into temptation, because the Ruach is willing, but the flesh is weak. The word in Hebrew for willing is kafas, as desire and a pleasure and a delight. This man delighted to do the will of Elohim, and the will of Elohim was for him to sacrifice himself for the salvation of others. When we look in Psalms 119, he sat back and he told you that great shalom have those who love that Torah. Nothing will cause them to stumble. When you love the Son of Elohim, nothing will cause you to fall. Man just told you that in Matthew chapter 7. This man say, I've hoped, I've inspected, I examined Yahushua. I mean, you searched the scriptures and you saw that he was exactly who he said he was, exactly what was prophesied of him. Therefore, you have shalom in that aspect. You turn around and sit back and look at it and say the people offered willingly with the perfect heart. And we say that it was shalom. And again, that's a covenant of peace in the mind, because this man's word resonates in your heart and it gives you that shalom that you desire. I don't want to sit back and tell you. People sit back and look at it like this, right? Let's keep it one. Keep it one. Like I told you earlier. We don't have the peace in the heart and in the mind because we don't want the things of Elohim. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to sacrifice. We don't take a joy and delight in that. So we take a joy and delight in sinners. When the book sit back and tell you not to delight in sinners, nor to seek after them, not to even be envious of nothing that they have, don't even be joined with them, because they have no hope and nothing that they're going to receive. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. So we don't wait. So we don't actually have that, and then we try to double back. Niggas like I said, man, just keep it 100, flat, clean. Ain't no play no different with it. Niggas is not expanding. Niggas is not growing. Niggas is not evolving. Niggas is not being born Elohim. Niggas is not getting a new heart and a new Ruach, because just to keep it real with you, you don't want to die. You don't delight to die. You don't have a joy to die. You don't have a desire to die. That's not in your heart. That's not in your mind. You are not looking a stake in the face and saying, yeah, I'm going to get on that. You ain't said nothing. What you mean? I already knew I was going to die before I came up here. I want to do it. I delight to do it. It brings great joy to my heart to do it. Because that's what he was telling them. Because he could be in English and say Aramaic all they wanted. That man sat back and said the Ruach is kafas. They knew exactly what he was talking about. The Ruach delights in the word. He knew exactly what he was talking about. He turned around and tell him, he said that this thing is sore and greed and diseased. They knew exactly what he was talking about. You know what I'm saying? And you sit back and you got a delight to die. I mean, you watch it. And look at the temptation. What he was looking at, his temptation was not to die. Temptation wasn't no woman with no big behind. No, I'm lonely, I want a man. I'm going to get with this and that. Wasn't his temptation. Oh, they got a joint to smoke. I like to get high. That wasn't his temptation. His temptation was, will you continue to delight and want to die, now that death is staring you in your face? Because it was easy for you to tell me that you look forward to dying and you're happy to die and you delight to do my will before the stake is in your face and it's time to go and get on it. But then he turned around and said, now my will be done, but thy will be done, because I got a delight to do what you want me to do, not what I want to do. I want to die. That's why he turned around and looked at Pilate. Man, for this cause I was born, and this cause I came in the world. What do you mean? I wasn't born but for one thing, but for to die. That's what I'm here for. I ain't here for nothing else. That's what you got to sit back and realize for. You ain't here for nothing else. You better sit back and think about all the things that David said he had in that house. Precious gold, precious silver, iron and brass, wood and all. Well, wood and stubble get burnt up. Say you a vessel under dishonor, he can't use you. Sanctify yourself and make yourself meet for the master's use. You sat back and looked at earlier. He said you'll be a peculiar treasure. You sit back and look at treasure, jewels. He said, hey, and they shall be mine when I make up my jewels, and I shall spare them as a father who spares his own son that servant. You better think about them jewels you see around in Jerusalem. You better think about all them precious stones, glittering stones too. You know what that means. That means they shining. Sons of light. Like we already read earlier. You better sit back and think about that. Them the sons of Elohim in his house. What is his house? Revelation 21 tell you. Ain't no temple. Elohim, Yahuwah Elohim and the Lamb are the temple of it. You don't think it's going to be glittering stones inside the house like David had? You going to be the glittering stones if you be willing to offer yourselves willingly with a perfect heart. That's on you though. That's on you though. You know what I'm saying? Again, the common theme of this word is faith and sacrifice / suffering and loving Elohim with all your heart and all your strength and loving your neighbor as yourself. That's the theme of this word. Not that you can see the Yasharah. Your fathers knew they would have seen the Yasharah and are dead. I'm just paraphrasing what he said in Zechariah. He said the prophets are dead. Where are they? Your ancestors are dead. Where are they? You know what I'm saying? The same way this thing about it. This thing ain't about telling me don't eat no pork, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you better Sabbath on the wrong day. You keep it. This thing ain't about none of that, man. All that, boy, you gotta love, brother. Nigga ain't got no love in his heart. Nigga sell that to somebody else. Cause nigga, you don't love Elohim, so I know you can't love me. Niggas, in fact, let's just keep it 100. Niggas don't love themselves. Niggas don't love themselves. You can't love Elohim or love anybody else till you love yourself. You can't respect Elohim and you can't respect nobody else till you learn to respect yourself. That's the first thing we need to sit back and do. The first thing we need to do is grow up, become mature thinking men and women, and learn to love and respect and value yourselves. And when you learn and respect and value yourselves, you can reciprocate that to others. Got to become responsible. Got to become accountable. You know what I'm saying? We don't like to do them things, man. Got to make self-assessments, man. Got to be real. Got to be 100, man. Y'all can't do nothing with no fake people. We've been fake people since our inception. He already said that. They showed to me much love with lips, but they heart go after their covenant. That means these people fake. That means you ain't real. That's what your God said. I didn't say it. That means that includes me too. That doesn't mean I'm excluded from the group. That's your niggas, not me. That's all us. That's all us. If we all want to see the Yasharah, that means that's all us. Ain't nobody exempt. Every last one of us. That means the whole people been phony. The whole people in fake. From our inception. We got to keep it real and reconcile that. And say, well, we going to be the generation that's not going to walk like that. That we might manifest this man's esteem and power and so the sight of the nations. That they might know that there's a Elohim that rule in Shamahim and Aras and rule amongst men. And whoever hosts his name by Hashem Yahushua. That's what we need to sit back doing. That's what you got to set yourself and look at. We don't want to do that because we just want to talk about it.